It's not a game, it's a rage thing.
Hey guys. All right, here we are. Time is it? 4:57. I'm 3 minutes early. How about that? I don't fuck around when it comes to politics. This ain't no mob tube bullshit right here. Yes, absolutely, Miss Can't Be Wrong. I'll do some shout outs. We only got 18 people. I mean, you know how these shows go. It'll take a while. We'll end up with the usual, 70 to 100. I'm going to respond to a couple of comments, or at least one that I saw in the chat before I started the show. Just give me a second. Bobby, Sally, Miss Can't Be Wrong, Dave, Ronan456, Jesse Roth, Michael. Michael says, all due respect, we have bigger fish to fry than childcare. Well, here's a few things. Not necessarily. If you're a voter whose biggest issue, biggest worry, biggest concern is childcare, then no, there is no bigger fish to fry. Also, that's just the main topic of this show, not the only topic of this show. And on top of that, the reason it's the main topic of this show is because of Donald Trump's incomprehensible, insane word salad, rambling, weird ass disgrace of an answer when asked a question about childcare. I think we need to talk about that. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you how he answered a question about childcare, and we could all have some laughs and take comfort in the fact that we have been correct all along. Donald Trump is a fucking moron who doesn't know anything. And when he gets asked a question, the last thing he's going to do is answer it. Okay? No question. He'll talk about a million other things, but he ain't going to answer the question. A couple of reasons for that. One being because he's a mentally challenged in many ways, I believe. And he can't even focus enough to answer a question. Two, he doesn't care about any particular issue enough to learn about it so that he can answer a question when asked. And three, uh, if it's not something that's a major issue to Donald Trump, then he has no desire to even address it. Okay. And you got to remember Trump's main priority or priorities, if he gets a second term, is to keep himself out of jail and to make rich people richer. Okay. That's it. So he ain't worried about poor people and middle class people, you know, being able to afford childcare. He couldn't give a fuck about that. He doesn't understand that. He's never been a regular person. He doesn't know what that's like to have that concern. He doesn't know. He doesn't know anything, you know. Born with a platinum spoon in his mouth and always had whatever he wanted handed to him. That's it. So, I'm looking forward to showing you just how out of touch he is. Not just out of touch, but how incoherent his fucking answers can be when asked a direct question about any particular topic. You know, he really is a stupid man. I don't understand how people don't see that, but I guess stupid people can't see it because either they're stupider than him or they're equally as stupid. So it sounds like a smart answer to them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Cuban Rambo, what's up, bro? OC, what up? What up? What up? What up? Oh, there you go. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I want to talk about JD Vance's answer to that too, because he's another fucking moron who's completely out of touch and doesn't understand life for normal people, you know. He uh his answer, and this is no bullshit. This is why I say these guys, even young guys like him, what is he, like 39? Somehow they still live in the 1950s. Okay. His answer to this was basically, well, that's what postmenopausal women are for. Okay. In other words, their whole job in life, post-menopause, women, okay, their whole job in life is to take care of grandchildren. It's their job, according to JD Vance. That's what he said. You know, he has no real answer. He just says, "Oh, you know, family." Now, his fucking his mother, I believe, is like a bionuclear physicist or some crazy shit. Okay, and she was able to take time from her job to help JD Vance and his wife raise their kid. So, you know, again, completely out of touch, doesn't understand that most people don't have that. They don't have a mother or a father or something that could just take years off work to help raise a fucking child. He doesn't understand that. He has no idea. So that's his answer. And he's the guy, again, who's obsessed with bringing kids into the world. Obsessed. It's his main priority is to get people to have as many babies as possible. And then, you know, people like they go crazy when they get called weird, JD Vance and Trump. It's fucking weird. You guys are. Both of you. Odd characters. But they don't see it. And that's another thing. Trump is so soft skinned, thin skinned, butter skinned. Can't say or can't get over the fact that Tim Walz said that he's weird. He just the other day at a rally or at something, he said Tim Walz is weird. I'm not weird. Then he repeated like 5 times that he and JD Vance are solid. JD's solid. I'm solid. We're solid. But yeah, we're both very solid. That's what he said. Okay. And he says Tim Walz is weird. Okay. All right. Whatever you say. It's so funny to me that anybody could even try to make a comparison between him and Tim Walz or Kamala Harris, Trump or JD Vance. You know, the shit they'll try to say, like they keep talking about Tim Walz said that he carried, you know, weapons of war into war. Well, he misspoke. I don't know why he said what he said, but you're going to focus on that rather than the fact that Donald Trump deliberately lies every single day to this country, every single day. Like now he's trying to convince people, stupid people, who will believe him, the stupidest of which anyway will believe him. He's trying to convince them that Democrats have gone so far, so extreme with abortion that now a woman can have a baby and he said this is his words, they'll just put the baby in the corner to starve to death, or they'll just execute it. This is Donald Trump. This is what he's telling people. Now, do you think he believes that for a second? Of course not. There's never been a single instance of it ever anywhere in America. Never. Not once ever. Okay? He knows that. He don't care. He knows that he has, a certain segment of his base that is so fucking stupid that they just listen to what he says and believe it, no matter how crazy it is. So he says shit like that. It's insane. The other day at a rally, he literally said that Jimmy's mother will drop Jimmy off at school, and Jimmy will come home after having a horrible operation. In other words, he's trying to convince people, because remember, it's all fear mongering. Take what people hate the most, take what they're afraid of the most. Okay. Now on the right, what are they afraid of the most? Anybody who's not white. Okay. And anything, homosexual, or, anything that's transgender, or anything like that. Okay. That's their biggest fears. That's what, at least, that's what concerns them the most. They're hateful people, and they hate certain people. And the thought of, God forbid, one of their kids being gay or transgender or something is their worst fucking fear. Their other fear is that their daughter will date a black guy. That's their other biggest fear. So he knows that. He knows that they hate transgender people and everything else. He knows that these people are so fucking stupid that they think transgenderism is the biggest thing we have to worry about. Like Michael said, bigger fish to fry. Let me tell you something, Michael. On that side, they're worried about transgenderism more than they're worried about damn near any fucking thing else. So anyway, he tells his people that it's so bad now that you're going to send your son to school a boy and he's going to come home a girl. And a lot of people will believe it. But you guys are worried about one thing Tim Walz said once. Okay. All right. I'm still learning about all of you, just a little bit. I pretty much know you pretty well. He doesn't know about the real world things that regular people deal with. No. Trump denied health insurance for his little nephew. He ain't doing nothing for childcare. Nothing. He'll be unchecked in his second term, 4 years of a lame duck presidency. Absolutely. In Donnie's defense, we wasn't prepped for that question, so he had to ad lib. He preps for softball questions thrown his way. Throw him a curveball. He got to do the old word salad dance. Yeah. But that's the point. These slapnuts is that you're running for fucking president. You have to be prepared for questions like that. And Donald Trump never is and never was. This debate tomorrow night is going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be him rambling about how terrible this country is and everybody in it. And talking about, he's going to say things like it's a third world country and this country's gone to hell. He's going to say stuff like that. Okay. And Kamala will be speaking policy, talking policy proposals, different ideas for her first term as president. Things like that. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's just like the difference between the rallies. Trump, remember, lock her up, all that horse shit. Look what they do at a Kamala rally. Somebody will say, lock him up. And she'll say, no. Let's beat him at the voting booth. Let's let the law enforcement or the government, whatever, worry about locking him up. You know what I'm talking about. The feds, whatever word she uses. Okay. The courts, maybe, she said. So it's none of that horse shit. It's none of that childish bullshit behavior. It's not. Glad to have a political discussion, but I'm sure I will be blocked. Kamala wants to give free health care, free college, free childcare, free housing, and food vouchers for illegals, etc. No, she doesn't. That's the best way I can answer that. No, she doesn't. She doesn't even believe in free healthcare at this point anymore. Anyway, she kind of flip-flopped on that one. As far as free college, if you mean forgiving student loans, but you're talking about specifically for illegal. So yeah, of course, this is one of those things that you guys, think. You see it on social media and stuff and you believe it, so you just repeat it, but I'll tell you this: if you could drop me a link to any proof that that's part of any of Kamala's policy ideas or policy proposals, then I will apologize on the spot. But I assure you that is not true. That is not true. Oh yeah. He's gonna get spanked tomorrow night, no question about it. So, guys, I'm going to ask, of course, if you'll donate on this show. Okay, I couldn't do a regular MobTube show tonight. I had nothing to talk about. I don't like doing shows where I have nothing to talk about. And politics is a little more important right now than talking about Tony fucking Pizza or Nick Romano or any of these people. So I thought it would be better to do one of these shows. So if you can donate, I'd appreciate it very, very much. I don't care who you are, how much you donate, whether you agree with me or not. Doesn't matter. You're being entertained, you're watching, you're getting involved, you're taking part in the chat, whatever it is. So it takes a while to get the numbers up here. We're at 48 now. It could be 20 minutes, a half hour before we're up to 70 or 80. I don't want to. James Earl Jones died? Did he really, John Doe? Why did I think he was already dead? I guess it's not that big of a shock to me then, huh? I already thought he was dead. Absolutely, pizza is going to be nobody regardless. Nobody. Trump debate tomorrow will be bashing, nickname calling, pouting, and neither will lay out one policy tomorrow. Oh, I totally agree or disagree. I guarantee you Kamala will be laying out her policies. That's what she does. That's what she does. He won't. He will not. I will take bets on this from people. I'll absolutely take bets. We could gamble on this shit. I already know how it's going to go. Yeah. I think everybody thought James Earl Jones was dead. I'm pretty sure. So the reason I mentioned the numbers is because I don't want to play this video now and have to play it again later on. But I'll just do that. I don't care. I don't feel like waiting because that's the main point of this show. So I know many of you probably saw his answer to this. Okay. And I wish I had the transcript handy because, listening to him say it is bad enough. But when you hear somebody else read it, it's like, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing how bad it sounds. Okay. What a terrible, I don't even want to call it an answer. What a terrible word salad it is, we'll just say. So let me put this up. Let me find it first. How about that? That's a good idea. That's right. Let me see. Forbes. There we go. I want you guys to listen to this. I might pause it from time to time. I might not. Let's see. I'm not sure yet. Listen to the question and listen to the answer, okay?
And the final question, Resma, is to you.
Thank you. President Trump, you talked about how the increase in the price of food, gas, and rent is hurting families. But the real cost that's breaking families' backs and preventing women from participating in the workforce is childcare. Childcare is now more expensive than rent for working families and is costing the economy more than $122 billion a year.
More expensive than rent. So see, Michael, now it's a very serious issue to a lot of people,
making it one of the most urgent economic issues that is facing our country. In fact, the cost of childcare is outpacing the cost of inflation, with the majority of American families of young children spending more than 20% of their income on childcare. One thing that Democrats and Republicans have in common is that both parties talk a lot about what they're going to do to address the childcare crisis, but neither party has delivered meaningful change. If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable And if what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. You know, I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue.
Okay, already it's fucked up. But keep listening. I want you to really pay attention to what he's saying. Let me go back just a second. Remember, he was just asked what he'll do about making childcare more affordable, what policy he'll implement, or, you know, what legislation he will try to pass. Listen closely.
Impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that because look, childcare is childcare. It's couldn't, you know, there's something you have to have it in this.
Did you hear that? Because look, childcare is childcare, and it's listen again.
You have to have it.
Hold on.
Couldn't, you know, there's something you have to have it in this country. Childcare is childcare. It's couldn't, you know, there's something you have to have it in this country. You have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they.
Okay, now I want to remind you that he's supposed to be answering a question about childcare, and now he's wandered off into tariffs, because what he's trying to say is that the tariffs will help pay for childcare. I want to make this clear, very, very clear. Read my goddamn lips, in the words of who was that? George Bush? No, who was that? Said read my lips. I don't know. I think the first Bush, right? Tariffs are taxes on the American people. Okay, let me make that clear for everybody who's talking about him raising, or Kamala. You think Kamala is going to raise your taxes? You still are under the false belief that Trump actually lowered your taxes, which he didn't. He absolutely raised them. For the people who think tariffs are actually a tax on foreign countries, you are wrong. Tariffs are a tax on the American consumer. Period. Okay? When you go to a store and you want to buy an item that was produced and imported from overseas, you are going to be paying a 10% tariff if Donald Trump has his way. Okay? 10%. So whatever the price of the item you want is, you will be paying a 10% tariff on that. You will. The foreign country doesn't pay a fucking thing. They just produce their products and send them here. Okay? That's how it works. So look how many businesses have already been affected by this horse shit. This is what he wants to do. Okay? It's going to cost the average American, I think it's either individual consumer or family. I believe it's individual consumer, upwards of $4,000 a year, right around $4,000 a year. His tariff plan. You understand? His tariff plan. So that's the way it's going to be. You can already count, if you think Trump is going to win, and if he does win, you can already start planning, I guess you could say, for that extra $4,000 a year you're going to be spending. Because the tariffs are not going to decrease your need, okay, or lessen your need for certain products. Certain things are necessities to you. You need products, whether they're, no matter what they are. It could be hygiene stuff. It could be beauty stuff. It could be fucking food. It could be I don't care what you're into, whatever it is. Okay, it could be fucking toys for your kids. All right. You're going to be paying more. Now, according to who? Joe Bag of Donuts. According to the way tariffs work and have always worked since the beginning of fucking time. What do you mean, Joe Bag of Donuts? What do you mean, according to who? So, they could do the math and figure out, okay, if certain products are taxed 10%, and the average family buys these products regularly, what will it cost the average family over a year's time or whatever. Okay, it's pretty simple. So they 330 million. Yeah, okay. That's not, you think that all, there's what, 360 million people in the country. You think 330 of them are out buying goods and shit. Not, you don't account for like children or anything. You don't think that a lot of those people in our population are children who don't buy any fucking thing, right? Okay, I guess not. So anyway, that's what it's going to be. Okay, so for any of you who still believe this horse shit about how he's going to tax foreign countries with these tariffs, that's not how it works. What it will do is it will decrease demand for some of these products because the prices have gone up. But again, that sucks for all of us because we want these fucking products. We've always bought them, you know? And now it's going to be more expensive. It's almost like inflation, right? It's almost like inflation, isn't it? Yeah, prices are going to go up because of Trump's tariff plan. And a lot of the reason he wants to do this shit is because I think it said it's going to bring in, I forget the exact amount over a 10-year period, 1.8 trillion, something like that, maybe. This is his way of trying to offset the continued and increased tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires. Okay, he already gave them a huge tax decrease. Now they want to consider, or I'm sorry, they want to continue to decrease. I'm sorry, I'm saying this the wrong way. They want to give them a bigger tax cut. I'm sorry. They want to give them. Trump wants to give them an even bigger tax cut than he already gave them, and that's his plan for his second term if he gets one. Okay, he's going to give the richest 1% an even bigger tax cut than he already did, and that has to be paid for somehow. You know, that's just how it works. It's got to be paid for. Like the last time he gave them a huge tax cut, it wasn't really paid for, but the plan to pay for it was going to be done by raising taxes on the middle class. Okay. So you raise taxes on the middle class, you're able to pay for a tax cut for the richest 1%. That's the plan. Now, of course, Donald Trump ran up $8 trillion in debt, an unprecedented amount of fucking debt for a president. Okay, for a one-term president. By doing that and some other, bad choices he made and everything else. So it's not like he paid for those tax cuts. He just ran up debt. But now he's going to run up even more, and he's going to give his friends an even bigger tax cut, I assure you. That's one of his main reasons for even running for a second term, to make himself and his friends richer. So let's get back to this. I'm going to rewind a little bit. Listen.
They're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And, there's something. My daughter Ivanka was so...
Make childcare affordable. And what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that. And we're sitting down, I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much.
No, they won't.
Bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time.
He barely finishes his sentences. Listen to him.
Coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country, because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? You almost can't believe that this is the Republican nominee for president. Almost.
We're going to be getting in trillions of dollars. And as much as childcare is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people. And then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make America great again. We have to do it because right now we're a failing nation. So we'll take care of it. Thank you. Very good question. Thank you.
Unfucking believable, right? You believe this shit? How about we let illegal aliens vote? No, that's not a thing. Illegal aliens can't vote. You should know that, but I have a feeling you believe otherwise. Trump 2024, y'all delusional, LMAO. Now, there's a very intelligent, well thought out comment from Billy. You know what I mean? It's almost exactly what you might expect from a Trump supporter. Billy probably has an IQ of 34, so no surprise. FBS loves Timmy Tampon. See what I'm saying? They're like children. Look at this. They're like fucking children. Children. Billy, I'll tell you what. Here, check this out. How about this? I'm going to drop the link for you. You guys do me the biggest favor when you come in and do shit like that, especially during a show where I'm talking about Trump. Because what you do is you prove to the audience, in case any of them have any doubts when I'm calling you all stupid, that you are unbelievably stupid and that you don't have a fucking reasonable, coherent thought in your fucking head, you know? He isn't coming. Of course he isn't. Guys, don't be afraid to donate, please. I'd appreciate it very much. I know there's only 62 of you, but hey, that's a few of you can donate. I'm coming to my wit's end again with this shit. Let me see. Is that right? Good. I hope he dies. Let's see. Kamala sure will do better. Yeah, you're fucking right, she will. There's no question about it. Listen to her when she answers a question, and then listen to that shit, dummy. Let me see. Don Jacobs said, I just heard in 2025 illegals might get to vote. Well, Don Jacobs, this is the problem that we have in politics today. You just heard it. You heard it. You have no reason to believe it. There's no evidence backing that up. We have no reason whatsoever to believe that that's going to be a thing where illegal aliens all of a sudden are able to vote. It's impossible. It's unconstitutional. It can't happen. It won't happen. But most likely, Don, this is something you saw on social media and you just believe it. Just believe it. The other day, every time I go on Facebook, you know, a lot of MobTube people, so a lot of Trump supporters. It's unbelievable the memes and shit they put up that are just complete and total bullshit. And then you look in the comment section and everybody's like, oh my God, I knew it. Oh my God, this is true. Yeah, I told you, I knew it. This is true. And is there any way I could share this? And you hit the nail right on the head. And this is exactly what's happening. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You guys are so brainwashed by that right-wing media shit. I swear to God, man. Illegals cannot vote, period. They can't. It's not a thing they can do. Look, as long as you vote. There you go. I can agree with you on that. People should vote. Everybody should vote. Yes. Now, Billy, that's called a link. You click it and you can speak the words you type. Okay, Billy? Yeah, simple as that. You know? Thank you, S. Frank. Exercise your right to vote is all that matters. The president is nothing but a puppet, a face. You know, to some extent, but your average president, sure, but not Trump. You got to understand. Trump has managed to surround himself with the very swamp that he promised to drain. You know, he's got the worst people possible working with him and for him. And they have a plan called Project 2025. that is going to fuck everything up. And they figured out a way to circumvent Congress and everything else and make it so that the president can get whatever he wants. And the Heritage Foundation and anybody else around Trump will be able to get what they want through him. All right. So it won't be that way. You know, it's funny because the left keeps saying that if Trump gets elected this time, this might be the last election you ever get to vote in. I know a lot of you think that's like hyperbole or people are just, you know, being dramatic or exaggerating. No, it's very, very true. If you look at the plans in Project 2025. And you guys can keep saying Trump has nothing to do with Project 2025. Okay, then you're just ignoring the evidence. You're ignoring when the author of Project 2025 sits there being secretly recorded saying that the whole fucking thing was designed for a Trump term, for Trump's second term. You know, and of course, you know, Stephen Miller and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all the other people that are Trump loyalists and supporters and people that were part of his administration and everything else that are part of Project 2025. You're ignoring all that, you know. Let me see. I don't believe it. I was looking to see if anyone else heard that as well. Oh, okay, I got you, Don. Yeah, no, it can't happen. It can't happen. Nobody can make it happen. You got to be an American citizen. The irony is that for decades, Cubans were given citizenship as soon as they touched American soil, for the most part, support the Republican Party. Let me read that again. The irony is that for decades, Cubans were given citizenship as soon as they touched American soil to, for the most part, support the Republican Party. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It is ironic, isn't it? Joe Bag of Donuts, do you realize how partisan you sound and think? Your biases don't allow you to objectively view data. No, that's why certain comments I've learned with Joe, you just got to skip because it's just nonsense. Joe Bag of Donuts, I love you, bro, but a lot of what you say is just plain nonsense. So it's like, I don't know what you're seeing, but you're not seeing what everybody else is seeing. Of course she is, Jason Mikesell. There's no question about it. And that sugar crash, as Joe calls it, it ain't going any fucking where. They're doing pretty goddamn well. You know what I mean? So working people are suckers in Trump's eyes. They are. Yeah. I'm gonna show you something in a second. Speaking of right-wing media, a lot of the big names have been taking Russian money. The right gets its talking points from the Kremlin. Yes, 100%. There's a huge indictment about it right now. A huge indictment. Jason, you want to come on this show? Because last time you said you want to come on. Let me show you guys something. I got to find the exact video here. I got a bunch of these. Let me see something.
I still think he's very smart. You say something nice about Donald Trump, you know, he'll love you no matter what. So when he first started to run, I didn't.
This is, well, I'm not going to show this one. This is Mark Cuban. If you listen to Mark Cuban talk about Trump and his business acumen, you'll laugh your balls off. Like, ever since that day, Common Sense tried to argue that Trump is a good businessman. It's like, well, listen to other billionaires and listen to what they tell you, you know?
It's rare when you see somebody.
Listen to this.
It's rare when you see somebody get stupider before your eyes, but he's really working at it. And so you got to give him credit. It's not an easy thing to do, but he's accomplished it.
Where there's so much water, you don't know what to do with it. You know, it's called.
Listen, this is a Fox cutaway. Fox had to cut away because of his ridiculous idiot rambling. Listen.
Where there's so much water, you don't know what to do with it. You know, it's called rain. It rains a lot in certain places. But no, their idea, you know, did you see the other day? I opened it up and they closed it again. I opened it, they closed it. Washing machines to wash your dishes. There's a problem. They don't want you to have any water. They want no water. And I was with water.
And you were just listening to former President Trump, and we're going to talk about some of the things he was discussing there. We'll be right.
They cut him off. They cut away from him all the time now. Fox News has had it. They know he's making an asshole out of himself and he's losing the election, you know, because of nonsense like this. He just tried to convince people that they don't want you to have water in your washing machines anymore. It's just another fear tactic, another, you know, example of fear mongering. It's just horse shit. You'd have to be a fucking idiot to believe that, but idiots believe it. That's the thing. He relies on those idiots to believe his nonsense. But I'm trying to get to a specific video with some union workers. Hang on.
Donald Trump.
This is why you. Please tell me.
Let me mute it for a second. I'm afraid they might have taken it down. Hang on. Looks like they removed it, but with some construction workers on a job site, which is probably why they removed it. And they're talking shit about Trump because if you're a union worker or if you're even pro-union, you don't want Trump to be your president. If you're smart, that's the worst thing. I mean, Project 2025, literally, they want to make unions illegal. Okay, they want to take away worker protections so people can be fired, other people can be hired, and their employment can be merit-based, meaning if they take orders well, they do well in their job. If not, they get fucking fired. Okay, this is why, like I said, they want to fire tens of thousands of federal workers in every agency imaginable. Right. And whatever. But listen, this is something I heard. I think you guys will find very funny. It's called "Y'all Pray for J.D. Vance," and pray is spelled P-R-E-Y. Listen.
Look here, everybody. A lot of people is getting on the internet and saying they like this Tim Walz fella just because he's a 24-year military veteran. It's always put women and children first and fought for his state's incredible economy and done a lot of things for children and has character and integrity and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm like not into any of that because I'm a Republican. And everybody's going hard talking bad about J.D. Vance, and I don't appreciate it one bit. And so I just think that now more than ever is a time that we need to pray for our leaders. And so I'd just like to say a quick prayer with J.D. Vance, if y'all please pray with me.
Listen.
Lord Jesus, thank you for sending us Donnie John Trump and just an example of a true Christian in Donnie Trump. Everybody thinks that he ain't good because he cheated on his third wife while she was pregnant with his fifth child with a porn star that he now calls Horseface. And that he cheated on all the other wives too, and was accused of beating and raping his first wife around the same time Joe Biden was pushing the Violence Against Women Act through Congress.
Yep.
But Lord, we know that you send imperfect individuals to do your work. We know that, Lord. It's in the Bible. I've never read it, but I've heard that. And that's what Donnie John is. He's an imperfect individual. And sometimes people in America, they don't understand. Sometimes, Lord Jesus, the Holy Spirit, sends us a lifelong con man, rapist, philandering, sexual predator who steals money from children's cancer charities and sets up fake colleges and fails at water, wine, vodka, airlines, mortgages, travel businesses, and fighting leagues and other things. And is a Russian asset. God can do anything. And people need to understand that, Lord. And I'm just so grateful that you have now also sent J.P. Mandela or J.D. Vance. Sometimes Donald Trump likes to mess up his name. J.P. Mandel. I think it's code language. But you have sent us J.D. Vance, who is a hillbilly that went to Yale and works for Silicon Valley billionaires.
Yeah, that's what a hillbilly is. I hope everybody knows that hillbilly elegy shit. His whole backstory is bullshit. That's not true. I hope you guys know that.
He's not really a hillbilly, but he read a book saying he was. And I understand sometimes you have to pretend to be things that you're completely not. I mean, as a Trump supporter, I have to pretend to be a Christian and a patriot. And it's not always easy pretending. And everybody just wants to give J.D. Vance a hard time just because he had a sexual intercourse with couches and he was once gay, but then he prayed it away. And people in this country don't understand you can pray it away. If you pray hard enough, you stop thinking about wieners. That's how I did it. I ain't thought about a wiener in several days, and they think that he don't have no integrity just because he's changed his name 3 times and went from being a gay atheist to a right-wing Christian fanatic. And I think that's, people can change. And he is a Christian even though he's raising his children Hindu, and he's a white nationalist Christian even though he's married to an Indian woman. And, JD says all kinds of incredible things like, women should probably just stay in violent marriages where the husband's beating them, and that's the true America that the Holy Spirit would want us to fight for. And I just want to lift JD up on angel's wings and put a Jesus force field on him and his chin and his beard. And I pray that he would keep his beard so we can see where his face starts. And Lord, just help JD and DJ to win this thing so that we can give tax cuts to billionaires and take food away from hungry children. In your name we pray. Please protect us from the border and ISIS. Amen. Thanks.
Boy, if that doesn't sum up the whole fucking thing, beautiful. Whoever that guy is, I love him. I came across his video on TikTok. I was like, oh yeah, gotta play this. But the video I was trying to find is where these union workers are flipping out, talking shit to Trump, telling him to go fuck himself and everything else because he, I don't know if you guys know this, but I think the smart people do, but even his casinos in Atlantic City, he claimed bankruptcy and didn't pay any of his workers. I mean, he couldn't give 2 shits about the working man. And unions, for fuck's sake, not at all. Okay, so he didn't even pay the union workers that worked on his fucking buildings. That's who he is. So, yeah, beautiful troll game. Beautiful, Bobby Barbarian. Guys, listen, I got to make money today. I'm not kidding. I'm not fucking around this month. And it's my fault, kind of, because I took a day and a half off, God forbid. And it fucked, I guess, everything up, or people just aren't donating. I've made nothing this month, virtually. I have to make money tonight. I have to. So if nobody's going to donate on this show, I'm probably going to end it soon and just go do a regular show where I guess, I don't know, I'll make fun of people, call people names, tear them apart, whatever it is that gets people to donate. I don't know. Intelligent conversation about important things like, politics, the presidential election, fucking childcare, stuff, tariffs, all this shit. That's nobody has any interest in donating on that shit. But I guess I'll just, I don't know, I'll call Tony Pizza a cocksucker. Maybe I'll make $10 or something. So that might be what I have to do. I don't want to. I wanted to just do a politics show, but I might have to use my last hour of a time slot here to do that. Bobby Barbarian, $5. Thank you, brother. Oh, look at this shit. Oh, man, look at this guy. I didn't expect that. I take back everything I just said. Hold on. My brother took care of me, as usual. Thomas Sheehy, $100 for Up the Republicans. All right. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. That's awesome. $100. See, that certainly helped. You're the man, bro. Thank you. Thank you very much. That also means we can continue on with the politics show. So that makes me happy. I really don't feel like, I talked about, the MobTube shit on the first show. Guys, it gets so played out to me. You don't understand. Every day it's a struggle. It's like, who do I got to talk about to entertain people? I'd much rather be talking about this shit. So anyway, how great was that thing I just played? There's a bunch of other stuff too. You want to hear Mark Cuban talk about Trump? Listen, I'll play you his full, the videos, the TikTok videos with him.
Because you're lucky you have all a Kroger can't afford groceries.
And guys, don't let that stop you either, by the way. Please donate if you can. Seriously. Look at this. This is something I want to play before I get to the other shit. I'm going to hold this up to the phone because I want you guys to see it. I want you guys to see how dishonest motherfuckers are. Okay, how they just lie. Okay, so let me show you this. I don't even know who this dude is.
This is Los Angeles.
A Kroger
Watch this.
exec.
This is Los Angeles. Everything is gone. Look at this. Those are deodorants, I think. This place is going. I mean, this looks like it's been looted, and I guess thieves just come in and take whatever's expensive and just fucking walk out with it. This is crazy. This is unrecognizable. When I moved to Los Angeles, you come into Rite Aid and you spend the fucking afternoon looking around. This is so fucking sad. This is Los Angeles.
Now, what that guy fails to tell you is that that particular Rite Aid he's standing in, along with a lot of other Rite Aids in the country, is going out of business. They're not restocking anything, so the store is basically empty. But see, yeah, exactly, Miss Camp, you're wrong. But you see what he did there? You know, it's to further push this narrative that things are so bad. People are just running up in stores and stealing everything. The businesses can't even keep enough products. They're just all being stolen. Okay, so again, more dishonesty. The fucking Rite Aid was closing. Yeah, who's Bert Kreischer? Who the fuck is that? I don't even know who that is. Yeah, Antonino, absolutely. And he walked the picket line. Got to give him that. No other president ever did that we know of. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it. I don't know. But I'm going to see. Let me just make sure I could stream the debate live, and I'm going to be coming on at 9 when the debate starts. Probably like 5 minutes before, so we don't miss anything. And I'll be doing some live commentary and stuff like that. We could all discuss it. Jesse Roth, $4 for fuck Trump. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you very, very much. Let's see. My parents' neighbor was screwed over by Trump back in the 90s for a bunch of bathroom hardware for one of his failed casinos. Exactly, Jane Creek. A lot of business people. Yep. That's what he does, you know. And meanwhile, he's got the poorest people in this country. This is the truth. I want you to put this into perspective. Going back decades, the Republican base is made up of the poorest people in this country. I want you to think about that. If you are honest about politics and politicians and the two parties, one thing you know is that Republicans have always done everything possible to hurt poor people and working people and to help the richest people in the country. That's literally their entire platform. That's what they do. Now, they don't talk like that. They talk as if they're for the working man, and that's the problem. The poorest people in the country, many of them are also the stupidest people in the country. So all you got to do is tell them you're going to help them, and they believe it. They don't look at your record. They don't check out your what you've done in the past. If you've been a senator, if you've been whatever, and you've done things to help pass legislation to help poor people or working people or unions or anything. They just take their fucking word for it. You know how many poor white trash people I talk to say fucking Republicans are for the working man? Like, what? Since when? Literally, it's the Democrats that are. I know some of you don't want to believe that and you want to say a bunch of shit about welfare and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but, like for instance, this tax credit that Kamala Harris wants to give. All right, now I want to talk about Pronsky and Cy Gotkin. I think that's his name. So Cy Gotkin said something yesterday in the chat, because I want to remind you guys, when Pronsky was on the other day, he said, okay, that it is not a tax credit. Remember, we argued about it. I said, it's a tax credit. He said, no, it's not. And him and a bunch of people in the chat said, they give you the money up front, okay? Somebody even said you could use it as a down payment on a house. Okay. Now I said that's not true. It's a tax credit. Okay. So then I posted something about it. I posted something proving that it is absolutely a tax credit. So then the Cy Gotkin guy, he comes in the chat yesterday and he says that if you don't pay any federal taxes, the money gets sent to you. Now, that's a super oversimplification of it. So I misunderstood what he said, and I responded, the way I thought appropriate at the time. later on last night, I saw a long comment he left on that post about Kamala Harris's tax credit for, home buyers, $25,000 tax credit. And basically, what he's saying in so many words is, but he keeps using the words, they send you the money. They send you the money. If you don't owe any federal, or if you don't pay any federal taxes, they send you the money. First of all, everybody pays federal taxes. It's a matter of whether or not they get them back or not. Okay. You work a job, you pay into federal taxes, Social Security, all that shit. Okay. Based on your income and deductions and everything else, okay, you could get that money back. So yeah, technically you don't pay federal taxes. I understand. But he moved the goal post completely, and he was saying basically that he was trying to defend Pronsky, saying you get the money sent to you. And it's like, no. The argument was whether or not it's a child tax credit. It was not about how you get it back or any of that, or how you get the money. Am I saying this right? Let me think. Yeah, the argument was about whether or not it's a tax credit. And Cy turned it into a whole argument about how tax credits work. Do you understand? When, that again, that's just moving the goalpost. I was right with what I was saying a minute ago. It's like, no, you changed the argument. And basically what it is, Cy, is it's not that they just send you money. It's a tax credit. Okay. So if you don't owe any federal taxes, you get it back as part of your tax refund. They don't just say, here's a check for $25,000 for this specific thing. It's part of a tax refund. Okay. That's what you'll get. It's how any other tax credit works, child tax credit, any tax credit. So, I just wanted to bring that up because I was still right. My point still remains, okay, that it's a tax credit. It's not just, oh, you want to buy a house, the government just gives you 25 G's. That's not how it works. You buy the house, and then the following year when you do taxes, okay, you can claim that tax credit and you can get the money. Okay, you got to buy the fucking house first. So you hear that a lot. A lot of people change the argument, move the goalpost because I made my point. I proved myself to be right. The mad people in this chat were saying it's not a tax credit, and so was Pronsky. I proved that it's a tax credit, and they're like, well, yeah, but the tax credit works like this. No shit. But it doesn't work the way you said it did. You know what I mean? I said it was a tax credit. You said it wasn't. It is. It's a tax credit. That's how it works. You don't just call up the government and say, hey, I saw a house I like. Can I get 25 G's? And they send it to you. That's how they were how they were portraying the whole thing the other day. So I just wanted to bring that up. He's a comedian. Okay. Well, either he was doing that as sarcasm. He was just trying to be funny, or he really meant it. I don't know. Hopefully he was just trying to be funny. No freaking ZD now. 199. Did you say pizza's a cocksucker? Yes. Thank you for the 199. JD Hopes 499. FBS, good job on the political shows. Thank you. Thank you for watching and supporting me, bro. The donation means a lot to me. I really, really mean it. Thank you, JD Hopes. During Trump's tax break, that basically helped millionaires, took away all my work deductions. Yeah, exactly. But you can't convince these people of that, Antonino. You can't. Trump says he lowered their taxes, so they're like, hey, he lowered our taxes. How do I know? He said so. No, that's not how it works. You don't understand. He literally raised your taxes, and your taxes will be going up for several years now because of the Trump tax plan. Okay? So you can't explain to them that a lot of inflation was caused by the fact that, Donald Trump ran up $8 trillion in debt. You can't explain to them that food prices initially went up because of the problems caused by COVID with supply chains and everything else. You can't explain to them anything. They won't hear it. They won't hear it. They'll just repeat what they hear on Fox News or what Trump says. It's infuriating. And by the way, holy fuckaroni, Antonino, my man. Oh, look at this. Wow. Oh, thank you guys. But see, Tom Sheehy, what you started for me? Thank you, brother. Antonino, $75 for keep up the real world content. Thank you. See, this is what I need. I need people to let me know that I can actually talk about shit that matters and still make a living. I don't want to do this bullshit every day. There's enough people doing it. It's fun for the first show of the day in the morning. We have some laughs, we bash some people, but all the time, I just don't have it in me anymore, guys. I don't. I'm bored with it. And this shit's important, and the election is coming up. So it needs to be spoken about. Thank you for the $75, bro. Thank you so much. You guys just made my fucking day. And then look at this. Okay. It won't let me do it. Fucking phones. I swear to Christ. Cash App from Sis, $20 for Harris Waltz 2024. Thank you, Sis. I'm with you. Fucking right. There you go. I appreciate you guys, man. It means a lot to me. Reagan killed the unions. Yeah, of course. Republicans have always been anti-union. Why? Because unions protect workers, and unions make it so that workers, can make a decent wage and work a 40-hour fucking week and have, things like family leave and stuff like that. Republicans are against that completely. They absolutely despise middle-class people. They look down on them. The only reason middle-class people mean anything to them is because they help make them richer. That's it. They help make the rich richer. That's what middle-class people do. How are you going to have a fucking restaurant if you don't have any cooks or servers or anything like that? How are you going to have any type of business? Who are your employees going to be? Other rich people? No, of course not. So you need poor people. You need middle-class people, but you want to keep them down as much as possible. You don't want to give them any type of benefits whatsoever. You want to be able to fire them on demand no matter what, like whenever you feel like it. Listen to Trump. I mean, do you guys listen to him? I'm talking to the people who like him. Do you hear him? Like when he sat there with Elon Musk and he talked about how much he loved the fact that Elon Musk just basically fired a bunch of workers, just said fuck off. And Elon Musk got sued like a motherfucker because of that shit. Okay? He's anti-fucking union. And that's just the way it's always been, guys. Republicans they don't want you to have overtime. They don't want you to have paid family leave. They don't want you to have fucking if they could take away vacation days, they would, for fuck's sake. They don't want you to have any type of protection. Any way to ensure that you have some job security. They don't want that. They don't want that. They've been against it always. All of the major unions in this country have endorsed Kamala Harris. Look at it. Check it out. There's a reason for that. So Donald Trump's tax break that basically helped millionaires took away all my deductions. I read that one, but I read during. Did you mean Donald Trump's? Probably. Sorry. It cost me more money than before his tax break. I now take out more money to make up for his break. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to. Let me see. 100% it's a tax credit. Every seller is just going to bump the price $25K because, well, you're getting it free. Fuck the buyer. Maybe they'll meet the seller halfway. That's a theory. There's no proof that that's going to happen. That's just a theory. Didn't Obama do this in 2008? Didn't he give people a $10,000 tax credit or something? I believe so, right? Something like that. This is just a way to say what she's doing is a bad thing. Let's see. Jane Creek, Trump also claims to have created the greatest economy in history. People parrot that as fact. The greatest economy in history was the USA between 1945 to 1967. The economy was stronger under Clinton. Absolutely. Yeah. And Pronsky the other day said something crazy about how Clinton restructured Social Security or something, and that's what made the economy good under Clinton. Go look it up. There's a bunch of reasons why the economy was so good under Clinton and why he left office with a surplus. A lot of reasons. That is not one of them. We are not what, Tom Sheehy? Democrat headquarters. What? FBS, the best falsehood I heard was someone unnamed said Kamala wants to give illegals $125,000 to buy houses. See what I'm saying? It's all bullshit. It's just everything's blown out of proportion. Everything. Unions around the world will be making a strong statement this year. Oh, I believe they will. Yeah, he did, Steve Blair. He absolutely did. FBS, most states are at-will states, which means, hey, I can fire you in general. Yeah. Well, that's thanks to Republicans, too. That's what Republicans always wanted and fought for, of course. Yeah. At-will employment, This is why unions and stuff are so fucking important. I mean, you could thank unions for everything, including the 40-hour work week. Different things would be without unions, but they're anti-union. Look up Project 2025. I think it's page 69? I forget exactly. I have to check. It explains that this is what they want to do. They want to make sure that they can fire people without any type of repercussions, even people that are supposed to be protected in their jobs. They're in unions, whatever. They want to take that away. They want to make sure they can fire people who are not giving them what they want, meaning if you're a federal worker and you're not doing what the government is telling you to do, what the president or his cronies, whatever, are telling you to do, then you could be fired and you'll be replaced with somebody who will only get wage increases and stuff like that based on merit, which by merit, they mean, how well you take orders. You do what they say, you do well in your job. If not, they'll fire you too. That's just the way it is. I don't think Kamala is doing a bad thing. I just don't think it's a game changer like they say. Well, that's the funny thing. No, I don't think anybody's saying it's a game changer at all. Stuff like this have been done before. Or stuff like this has been done before. But they're trying to turn it into a bad thing. They're trying to say it's a bad thing. They're trying every way possible with the tax credit thing. Oh, they send you $25,000. Good. Who gives a fuck? How is that a bad thing? And the funny part is it's other poor people saying this. It's poor people who probably could use a fucking incentive like that to buy a house just because they're so brainwashed into believing it's got to be a bad thing. And it fucking applies to you too and your kids. Say you got a daughter or a son who's just starting out and wants to buy his or her first fucking house. You are pissed off at the fact that they will get a $25,000 tax credit just for buying a new house. What in the fuck is wrong with you? This is like people who try to take student loan forgiveness, try to make that into a bad thing. What? Are you kidding me? I mean, none of their logic makes fucking sense. I'm telling you, it's the longest running joke ever that Republicans truly do. Always, and I mean always, vote against their best interest because they're not bright enough to realize what is or isn't in their best interest. It's amazing. No, no, there's not. No, there's not. There ain't no civil war coming. Okay, there's not. Just the thought of that is goofy if you think about it. Yeah, what the Trump supporters in this country are what going to start killing everybody who's not a Trump supporter and Democratic politicians and all that. That's going to work out for them. They won't have all of law enforcement throughout the entire country, plus, the National Guard and the military after them and stuff. And yeah, they'll win that war. There ain't going to be no civil war. It would stop in about 13 minutes. Okay, it'd be all over. As soon as the first motherfucker gets gunned down by the police, they would all change their mind. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Nothing. There might be another riot like January 6th. That's about it. I'm goofy. You're a 25-year military veteran and police officer. No offense. I mean, thank you for your service, but who gives a fuck? I mean, that means what? That means that you can predict the Civil War. You could see into the future. Along with being a military vet and a police officer, you have a crystal ball. I mean, what do you want me to say? I respect you for your service without a doubt, but that doesn't mean you're right about everything. There's going to be a civil war between the emos and the goths. There you go. That I can believe. But it'll be harmless. Nobody will get hurt. No, we haven't, Cuban Rambo. Oh, no, and guys, look. Democrats historically clean up Republicans' messes. Republicans leave office with a horrible, destroyed economy, and Democrats fix it. It happened with Bush and Clinton. Okay, it happened with George W. Bush and Obama. It happened with Donald Trump and Biden, whether you want to admit it or not. That's just the way it is. And again, I want to remind everybody, and this is a fact for the people who swear the economy is bad and this and that. Joe Biden, this is a fucking fact, created 6 times more jobs than the last 3 Republican presidents combined. 6 times more jobs than the last 3 Republican presidents fucking combined. Okay. What is this? What does this mean, Bobby Barbarian? I just think it's very basic knowledge to say, as a seller, I'm 100% going to say, hey, I want a piece of that free 25K. If not all and most sellers are going to want all, and the buyers are going to be willing. Why would the buyers be willing? Why would the buyers be willing to pay an extra 25K? Think about that. Then that totally cancels out their tax credit. Why would they be willing? You know what I mean? Is it possible? Could it be possible, guys, that things will stay the same except homeowners will now get a $25,000 credit? Is it possible that it could work as planned? Yes, I think it is. I think it is. It's a theory that builders and sellers are going to raise the prices of homes 25 G's. Why would they do that? That wouldn't, you don't understand, that would cancel it out. People would say, okay, fuck it, then I'm not buying a house because the $25,000 credit isn't going to do me no fucking good. I got an extra 25 G's on my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you, Bobby. Civil War, LMFAO, a million guys with AR-15s and AKs ain't stopping any state, let alone the federal government. Of course not. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, I told you I saw a video. I wish I fucking had it. It was so funny. It was about, the guy was like trying to create this, scenario. It was like, or paint this picture. It's like some hillbilly in his backyard with a fucking, I'll drop the link in a second. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, you're a military guy and a fucking police officer. That goes to prove what I always said. Just because you were in the military doesn't mean you're a good person. I'm going to drop the link right now. Forget what I was saying. No. It was a guy talking about some hillbilly in his backyard with an AK. And then, another guy sitting in a room somewhere working for the government saying, oh, you have an AK? Well, I have this drone. You know what I mean? Like, smoke that. If you come on here name calling, I'll just kick you off, dickhead. If you come on here name calling. Why am I even dropping the link for this jerk off anyway? Why? The shit he's talking to me. You're the biggest dumbass piece of shit I've seen. Put that C in your crack pipe and smoke it. You're a fucking piece of shit. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see. Make sure I drop the right link. Insults are the tools of the weak-minded. Yeah, no shit. People are more willing to give away something that they didn't have to earn. Yeah, but it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. Think about it. Like, say a home is $200,000 and somebody wants to buy it based on the fact they're going to get a $25,000 tax credit. And then the seller says, well, since that you're getting that credit, I'm going to raise it to $225,000. Then what would be in it? Where would the incentive be for the person to buy the house then? It's like, well, the $25,000 is canceled out. What am I going to do with it? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even matter. I paid more for the house. That's stupid. You know what I mean? So I again, that's just the theory that's what's going to happen, because you got to understand it's a very good idea, a very good idea. So since it's a good idea, the Republicans have to make it look bad in some way. So that's the theory they're floating. You know, classy guy Haram is. Yeah, he's a fucking bum. Look, and he's nowhere to be found, by the way. Look. Nowhere to be found. If he comes back in, just block him, guys, after he talked that shit. Probably already did. He's not even ex-military or law enforcement. He's a wannabe. Who is it? How do you guys know him? But yeah, I assume he probably is a wannabe and he's not those things. But do you guys know of this dude? Unions are almost always Democrat. Yeah, for good reason. For good reason. You know what's frustrating is that there's so many people in this country who know the truth about all this shit. But you could talk till you're blue in the face. You will never convince people that want to believe otherwise. You know, and especially with no one knows him. Oh, okay. Well, he didn't pop up anyway, just like I knew he wouldn't. FBS, because no, it starts off at 25K more. The home buyer never acknowledges it. All right, if you're talking about the fact that if what you're saying is they'll just raise prices because this this tax credit is now available to people, who the fuck knows? I don't know. But no matter what, is it going to incentivize people to buy buy a house? Of course, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, prices can go up no matter what. Although, again, it's still a theory that builders and sellers are just going to take advantage of this and say, well, I'm going to raise. Listen, I assure you, Cuban Rambo, that even if that's the plan, okay, we'll just charge $25,000 more for a house. That'll hurt them, not help them, because less people will buy the homes. The homes will still be more expensive. People are not going to say, I'll give you an example. I believe it was a $10,000 tax credit under Obama if you bought a home, right? An ex-girlfriend of mine bought a house. She didn't look at that 10 grand as being towards the house. Her issue with buying a house was, okay, I could probably put a down payment down and get a mortgage, but how am I going to furnish my house? I don't have no furniture. I have nothing. She had been living with her mother, okay? She literally took that tax credit to furnish her home with. You know what I'm saying? So that's how people are going to look at the tax credit. And if things are too expensive, they're not going to buy it just because they're getting a $25,000 tax credit. If I see a house that I know is probably worth 25 grand and what it's being sold for, I'm not going to buy it. Or it's probably worth, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying. If I see a house that say should be 200 grand, but now they're selling it for 225 because there's a tax credit, I tell them to go fuck themselves. 100%. I'm with you on that, bro. Houses selling are a great thing in general. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Bro, you should know from the streets when are you most busy, when the gov sends out the free bread. Yeah, I know. But again, you're talking about a different thing. You're talking about fucking drugs. Let's give in a little bit, Cuban Rambo. Just give in a little bit and admit that, okay, we don't know that that's going to happen. We don't know that every builder and home seller in America is all of a sudden going to turn completely dishonest and fuck people in the ass because they're getting a tax credit and say, okay, because you're getting that credit, I'm making an extra 25 G's. You know what I mean? There's already something in it for the builder. They don't have to get a cut of it. They're selling homes. They're building homes and selling them. Or if they're just home sellers, whatever they are, they're real estate agents, whatever the fuck they are, they're already getting something out of it. They're selling more homes. You know what I mean? So their profit increases automatically just due to volume alone. You know what I mean? Cuban Rambo, a perfect example. If everybody in the neighborhood is selling a gram for $100, but you can afford to sell it for $75, you might not be making as much money on them per gram or as much money as them per gram, right? But you're going to do way more volume because you got cheaper prices. So you'll still make more in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's an insane market area considering interest rates right now. You know what I mean? Considering interest rates right now, I don't see that being true. But isn't it what is her other part of her plan? I believe is to is it $3 billion to build? Let's see. I feel like this is a moot thing. It's just a ridiculous thing to be arguing because again, it's theoretical. It's like, oh, because they do this, because the government gives a $25,000 tax credit, then every home seller and builder in America is just going to jack up their prices 25 G's. That's theoretical. That's not, we don't know that that's going to happen at all. At all. It's just speculation. It's nothing more than that. Let me see something. What was I going to look up? Let's see if I can find this. I was just listening to it earlier. Yeah. Part of her plan, I forget how much money she wants to put into it, but she's part of her plan is to build 3 million new homes. So that's another thing. That's another aspect of it. They're gonna. So you assume that like who are you speaking of, Joe? Exactly at this point. Are you talking about huge corporations that build and sell homes? Are you talking about builders, just regular builders that most likely aren't paying a 28% corporate tax rate? You know what I mean? Again, Joe Bag of Donuts, it's so odd that you are constantly I don't know if I want to say defending or advocating for millionaires and billionaires and oh poor them, look at their tax rate, how sad. They can all go fuck themselves, as far as I'm concerned, Joe Bag of Donuts. They got a 28% corporate tax rate, and a fucking school teacher or a fucking waitress or a fucking factory worker has a 35% tax rate. Who gives a fuck? Listen, Joe Bag of Donuts, elections have consequences. This is what happens, okay? When Democrats are in office, they raise taxes on the richest people. Okay. When Republicans are in office, they raise taxes on the poorest people. That's how it works. You're acting like this is brand new. It's speculation that the supply of new homes will increase by 3 million. And it's speculation that builders and home sellers will raise the prices of their homes $25,000 based on the fact that buyers are getting tax credits. Is it not? Tell me it's not, Joe Bag of Donuts. You can't have it both ways. Jesse Roth said, guess what, guys? Builders have already been jacking prices up. Tell me something new. By the way, gas prices have been lower the past few weeks. Well, that's another thing that these people seem to forget is that prices go up. I mean, Pronsky actually tried to argue the other day that his car insurance is going up because of illegal immigration. When, in fact, car insurance just goes up. That's what happens to it. It generally doesn't go down. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. I mean, for an individual, maybe it'll go down over time, a perfect driving record, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Prices go up in this country. It's the same with food. They can't believe it. Oh my God, food prices are higher than they were. What? Are you telling me that with time, prices increase? This is fucking mind blowing. I never knew that. I thought everything stayed the same price forever. Like, I'm shocked that when I go to buy cigarettes, they're $10 now. When I started smoking, they were like $2.50. You're telling me they've been raising prices like every fucking year since then? I can't believe that. That's not possible. That's not how things work. Everything in life is perfectly fair. Come on, what are you talking about? Yeah, a brand new car. Are you shocked that a brand new car is tens of thousands of dollars now rather than thousands? Prices go up, people. Prices go up. And again, I'm going to show you another clip. Let me show you this. Even if sellers increase 25,000, buyers always look for the best deals. Of course, exactly. Buyers are still going to look for the best price possible, and they're not going to pay more for something that they think is worth less. You know what I mean? If they think something is worth a certain amount, they're not going to pay more for it just because they're getting a child tax credit. And not to mention there's competition. You know what I mean? There's going to be competition. There's going to be builders that'll say, if that were to happen, okay, look at all these people raising their prices. I'm not going to raise my prices, and I'm going to sell more because I got the lowest prices. You know what I mean? So in general, prices always go up. Some things fluctuate, but steadily increase. Yeah, exactly. And Cuban Rambo said, you're right. It's all speculation. Thank you, Cuban Rambo. I know what you're saying, that's something that might happen. But again, you know, it doesn't mean that, fuck Kamala and her stupid $25,000 tax credit. No, you know what I mean? It's like anything might happen, but you're telling me getting 25 G's back. Now, let's just say this. Let's just say that, yes, every home buyer and home seller in the country is going to raise the prices of each home $25,000. Okay. Now, at that point, there'd be nothing you could do about that. Okay, there'd be nothing you could do about that. That's just something that they're going to do for the dumbest reason I've ever heard. Okay, they're all going to simultaneously say we're all jacking up our home prices by exactly the dollar amount that you're getting in a tax credit. You're still going to receive $25,000. $25,000. Or based on your, whatever federal taxes you owe. If you owe $10,000, you're going to receive a $15,000, return, whatever, for your child tax credit. But that's money you can now use, considering that times are probably a little tight. You just bought a home. You know what I'm saying? So, but I find it hard to believe that all of them, every home builder, they're just going to do something completely crooked. Every home builder and seller is going to say, yep, now all home prices go up 25 G's. It just, yeah, well, are people greedy? Will they take advantage of stuff like that? To some extent, sure. I think if you said to me, prices will go up by $5,000 to $10,000 per home, something like that, universally, like I would say, okay, yeah, possibly. You know what I mean? They'll take a little bit of advantage of it. Yeah, but 25 G's, you don't think anybody's going to notice that? And then people are going to say, well, fuck it. I'm not going to buy a house now then, because they're going to charge me 25,000 more just because I'd be getting a tax credit. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. Well, that's the point, though, of giving them a $25,000 tax credit, as I think to get more people to have new homes built and stuff like that. This all stimulates the economy. You know what I mean? It's better, if that child tax credit leads to more people having homes built, then that gives all types of people work, construction work, everything. It helps out mortgage companies, and it helps in all types of different areas of the economy. But if, people are just buying old homes and stuff, not so much, so I think maybe that's part of the reason for the tax credit. Let me just, I'm going to give Trump supporters, you give us the bad news on Kamala. I'll give even In the left's favorite model, silver bulletin, Harris is collapsing. Harris 38.3%, Trump 61.5%. Yeah, no, she's not. Joe Bag of Donuts. She's not. She's not, I assure you. She's ahead nationwide, and she's going to spank him. There's no question about it. No, even Fox News had to break the news to Trump that she's ahead. You know, so but Joe, we'll let you have that. You're right, absolutely. Yeah, sure they do. Sure they do. No, they don't. They absolutely do not. They absolutely do not. Let me see something. Give me 1 second. I'll give you bad news about Trump, though. He's a rapist. Is that bad news? Is that bad news for you, Joe Bag of Donuts? He's going to raise your taxes even more, Joe Bag of Donuts. You know what I mean? There's some bad news for you. Hang on a second. Let me see one of my things here. Hold on. Just bear with me, guys. And then I want to show you a video about the grocery prices, so don't let me forget. I just saw something real funny. I might have to play for you. Here, let me play this for you guys real quick. Listen.
Kamala Harris isn't even remotely qualified to be president. She didn't inherit millions of dollars from her daddy only to go on to bankrupt half a dozen companies. She's never been convicted of defrauding a charitable organization, and she definitely never paid off any porn stars. I mean, she's not even a convicted rapist, for God's sake. She didn't have her own reality television show. I mean, she never even incited an insurrection or threatened to hang the vice president. She's never even been impeached, not once.
None of that. Fucking loser she is. She's never done any of that.
Let alone twice. Not only is she not a convicted felon, she doesn't even have a misdemeanor on her record. Did I mention that she's not a convicted rapist? Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. All she ever was a district attorney, and then the attorney general in California, and then the senator, and then the vice president. What does she know about politics? She's totally outclassed by Donald Trump. I mean, typical DEI choice. I mean, I could see giving her a shot if she had defrauded at least one charity, but not even one charity. I mean, Trump has 26 sexual assault allegations. Kamala doesn't even have one. Not one.
Loser.
Embarrassing, really. Kamala Harris isn't even remotely qualified to be president. She didn't.
How great is that? All right. So anyway, let me show you guys this other video. Let me get to it. God damn it. Let me get back to my history. Okay, I want to show you guys this. But there's a clip too I want to show you. I got to fucking find it. In the meantime, I'll just... Oh, shit, I got to put my fucking... Unfortunately, it's all hooked up now. All right. Let me do this. It's about grocery prices, since, you know, the Republicans will have you believe this is all Joe Biden's fault.
Kroger executive admits to price gouging, according to reports by Bloomberg and Newsweek. It happened in a hearing for an antitrust trial. Newsweek says Andy Groff told regulators that Kroger raised the prices of milk and eggs beyond the level of inflation. The report cites an internal email from Groff showing the price of those items were higher than necessary to turn a profit given the rate of inflation. In response, Kroger tells CBS News Detroit, quote, "This cherry-picked email covers a specific period and does not reflect Kroger's decades-long business model to lower prices for customers by reducing its margins." It goes on to say retail prices include the cost to run a grocery store, including labor, transportation, advertising, and other costs. We work relentlessly to keep prices as low as possible for customers in our highly competitive industry. This is especially true for essential products like milk and eggs. Now, this comes as Kroger is trying to merge with its competitor, Albertsons. The FTC and some states argue that would drive up prices. Kroger claims it would help them compete with retail giants like Walmart.
All right. So there's better ones I want to show you where they clearly state this, especially this Kroger CEO, that they raised prices basically just for the extra profit. Okay, they raised it past what was needed to meet inflation. They raised the prices. Okay, just because, guess what? I know you guys aren't going to believe this. People like money. See, it's so funny. You guys will push the idea that Kamala's tax credits are bad because home buyers or home sellers and builders are going to take advantage of that tax credit by raising their prices. Well, guess what? Grocery store chains and food manufacturers and wholesale distributors and everything else, when prices went up out of necessity because of the effects that COVID had on the supply chains and everything else, once they realized they could sell the shit for a certain price, they had two choices. Okay, either lower it now and cut our profits, or just keep it high and continue making extra money. So if you think home builders and home sellers would do something like that, why don't you think grocery store chains and shit would? This is a lot of the reason grocery prices are higher is because companies want to make more money on the shit they sell. That's it. That's it, really. It is. It is. And then, you could say, well, there's things Joe Biden could have done to help regulate grocery store chains and things like that so they couldn't raise prices, except you don't like that because you want regulations cut. You guys don't want no fucking regulations. So, and it's just like Kamala wants to basically stop companies from price gouging Americans. But you guys have a problem with that too, because it's Kamala. If it was Trump's idea, you'd be touting it all over the fucking place. You'd be thrilled. But she wants to make sure companies can't price gouge, and that's not good. So you bitch about the groceries being too high, and then when there's somewhat of a solution for it, you bitch about that too. Meanwhile, if these were Trump's ideas, like I said, you'd be all over them, So, Tom, I love you, but shut the fuck up. What happened? What did Tom say? How dare you tell Tom to shut the fuck up? Oh, Jesse Roth says the Democrat. I love the role Tom Sheehy plays in here. Oh my God, you're the man, bro. And thank you, Tom, again, man, from the bottom of my heart. And fucking Antonino and Sis and who else? Bobby. Thank you guys for donating on a politics show. Thank you for donating, period. But it means a lot to me, means a lot. It's so fucking discouraging when there's just no money coming in. And it's like, I know, there's money issues and stuff, but it's like my effort doesn't decrease, as much as, it might be true that there's issues and stuff like that. It's like, well, I understand like regular donors, the people who usually donate can't donate like that all the time. But it's like when you have, like now it's a politics show. We don't have that many, but when you have like 170 people watching you for an hour or two, it's like you're telling me that every single person who's watching this show right now just can't afford to throw you a few bucks. It's unbelievable because it's impossible. So it gets so fucking infuriating, man, because it's like, I know things are changing in the world, but my effort is staying the same. I'm still doing everything I can to entertain you. So it's like you're putting in the same amount of work, but you're making less money. Anyway, Bobby and Jesse and Sis and Antonino and Tom Sheehy, thank you guys. I'm not going anywhere yet. I just want to thank you. And JD hopes no freaking ZD now. And no freaking ZD now again. Thank you. And if anybody else would like to donate, feel free. Jason, Jesse, any of you want to come on? Jason, Mike Sell, I'm demanding that you come on this show right now and give me your perspective, at least for the next few minutes or so, maybe 10, 20, 30 minutes till Jesse's coming on, or till Jesse comes on. I'm sorry. Let me know. I want to hear from other people. Companies have to make profit to cover all the losses from the shoplifters you people let in the country. Here goes Timothy. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just widespread shoplifting by illegal immigrants. Yeah. I'll tell you what, guys, I can never convince you that these are isolated incidents that happen in certain areas. Because I'm telling you right now, where I am, and there's a lot of places just like this, we don't see the effects of any of that shit. You know what I mean? And again, Timothy, I don't know if you were here the other day, but as far as the shoplifting stuff, a lot of people on the right like to push that, like California, you could just walk in a store, walk out with anything up to $950 and it's okay. They don't even, do anything. It's false. They charge you with a misdemeanor for anything under 950. Anything over 950, it becomes a felony. But Texas, the reddest state in America, it's 2,500. So you could steal up to $2,500 worth of shit. And it's a misdemeanor. It's not until it goes above that it becomes a felony. So it's even worse. And as far as, the guy, John, that was in here the other night was like, yeah, but in Texas, they don't let you just walk out with stuff. Yes, they do. Because that's not necessarily based on any law. That's based on the company or the corporation you work for telling you, do not put yourself in harm's way to save whatever merchandise or whatever item might be fucking stolen. You know what I mean? Because then their employees, imagine, like I said the other night, an employee gets a 19-year-old girl who works in Polo or something, gets her fucking head split open trying to stop a shoplifter. You know what kind of fucking lawsuit she'll have against that company? So it's in company's best interest to just take the loss and say, yeah, just let them walk out with the stuff. It doesn't matter if it's in Texas or California. That's the way it is everywhere. Cuban Rambo. Well, good for you. Hold on, Jesse. I'm dropping it. Steve Blair said, Timothy Sullivan, not true. Bro, yeah, it's not true. Jane Creek, anti-price gouging laws are a good idea. Now, whether or not Kamala will follow through and capitulate to the donor class still is to be seen. I have little faith in any corporatist politician. Well, she will to an extent. There's no doubt about it. To the extent that Trump will, though, no. But they're all corporate, these are corporate Democrats and shit, Biden being one of them. I mean, so. What are you talking about specifically, South Philly, Tony? South Philly, Tony, I'm sorry. I never understood why the big content stores, I don't think you meant to say content, couldn't just hire private security. It's a better solution than chasing or than closing that damn store. Yeah, I know. I told you. My favorite store, Polo, right here in Lancaster. One night we went in there on like a Friday or Saturday night and there was a security guard. He was fucking staring me down. And I said to the employee, what do you got a fucking security guard? He was an armed security guard. I said, what do you have him in here for? He said, well, a couple of weeks ago, somebody came in with a big duffel bag and just started taking clothes, shirts, jeans, all types of shit and throwing it in the fucking bag and then just walked out. And we can't do anything about it. We were told not to do anything to stop them. So they just hired a security guard just for Friday and Saturday nights when that type of theft is most prevalent. So boom, that was their answer. What are they paying that guy? Maybe $20 an hour? It's worth it. I don't know why they all don't do it either, bro. I really don't. It amazes me people put blinders on, just spew uneducated bullshit. It is shocking, isn't it? That's right, Timothy. All right. What was I going to do? Drop the link for Jesse. Here we go. I'm fucking starving, guys. I'm eating and going to bed right after this. I swear to God. Because again, I got that one good night's sleep the night before last. And last night I was up. I don't think I slept at all. I went to sleep at 1 o'clock. Well, I went to bed at 1 o'clock and I got out of bed at, 10. And 10:45 me. I don't know. And I don't think I slept a wink. I remember being awake pretty much the whole time. So I can't. I don't know what the fuck is going on with me, but I'm exhausted, man. Yeah, Cuban Rambo, definitely. They have to do that. It's just like banks. They it's always been that way. You can walk into a bank and just hand them a note that says, give me the fucking money. They don't even have to see a weapon. And they're just going to give it to you because that's exactly what they've been instructed to do. That's the way it works because they're not going to have an employee getting murdered or hurt in any way, because then they have a serious problem, you know. Well, but tell me why you said you went a little further than that. You said there's a lot of low information voters on here. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I know smart people that can look up info on anything, but so uninformed about politics. Anthony Santoro, I am the furthest thing from uninformed. So I would like you to tell me what I'm uninformed about. Please don't just say that. Tell me what I'm wrong about, and we can argue the point. As far as what I see in Kamala Harris, let me tell you the main thing I see in Kamala Harris. She's not Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is the worst thing that can happen to this country. Okay, that's the main thing. Other than that, I see a lot of things in her. What do you mean? I mean, the woman was a prosecutor who put away child sex traffickers and all types of other low-life fucking scumbags. She's a very accomplished woman, very, very accomplished, and she has great policy ideas for this country. Great policy ideas. So there's a lot of things. I could make a list for you if you'd like, as soon as Jesse gets on here or whatever. Here, let me put her on now. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, how are ya?
Chilling.
Listen, I would vote for Rock over Donald Trump at this point. So what do you want my opinion on? And I'm not going on tonight, so you could take as long as you need.
Okay. Now, Anthony Santoro, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about South Philly Tony. South Philly Tony said, I love you all, but there's a lot of low information voters on here. Wait a minute. Was it him then or you that? No. Wait, let me find it now. I got to find it. Everything. I know you are a smart, educated guy, FBS, but I can't understand what you see in Harris. Yeah. No, that's, I was asking him what am I uninformed about though, because of his first comment. Not you, Santoro. All right, go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry. No. I was just going to say, people like you and Jason, every now and then you should pop on and tell me what you think about all this horse shit. It don't matter, whatever it is, whatever's on your mind.
As far as this tax credit for houses, there's no reason for the seller to raise their price. It comes off the back end when the buyer files their taxes the following year. Number one. Number two, if the seller's going to raise their house up another $25,000 thinking that it has anything to do with them, they're going to possibly end up sitting with a house on the market for a long time that they're not going to sell.
And it's not going to help them because I'll tell you a lot of other reasons. You know, a lot of first-time home buyers and then just home buyers in general, whether it's because they don't have perfect credit or because of their income, they can't just get approved for any type of mortgage. They can't just get a blank check to buy a fucking house. They're approved for a certain amount. So now you're putting yourself in a position as a seller that you might have raised the prices too much and people just can't buy the homes you're selling. You know, as simple as that. So it's like, it's not beneficial. This is just, listen, they have to turn anything Kamala is doing into a bad thing. They have to. So this is what they chose to go with, that.
Well, I would
raise prices. Okay. According to you.
I hate to sound like this, but I would be willing to bet if you.
All right, Antonino. Sorry, Jesse, go ahead. I had to say
that's all right. I would be willing to bet if you switched her out with a man who said the same exact thing, there'd be a lot less pushback. I mean, yeah, of course, there's going to be people that'll be like, oh, it's a Democrat, blah, blah, blah. But I think a lot of this is, if a man were saying 90% of what she's saying, they wouldn't get as much pushback. And I know that sounds sexist on my end, but I'm a woman. I deal with being a woman every day. I know what it's like out there in the workforce being a woman. You know what I mean?
I'm so sorry, Jesse. I missed what you said at first. Can you repeat it?
Well, I'm willing to bet if you switched her out with a man, but he said everything she did, there'd be a lot less pushback.
Well, maybe, but you got to remember, if it's a Democrat, it's a Democrat.
Well, you know what I mean? Yeah, obviously you're going to have that. There's always going to be it's a Democrat pushback on it. But like you're saying, everything she's saying are things she's doing. They have been done before, but they have to make it look bad because they can't have her having it be right. Well, and that's a Democrat thing, anti-Democrat thing too. But I just, the whole, when you pair it with the whole, she slept her way up to where she's at. How the hell did she sleep to where she's at? Like,
They're all elected positions. Yeah, I went over that the other day. It's like, how do you sleep your way into elected office? How's that possible? It
well,
doesn't
and
even. They just
listen,
have to say that, of course, because she's a woman. Meanwhile, they fail to inform people that Melania herself was actually literally a whore. It's,
well, even okay, let's take the other side of that and say she did. Why aren't we going after the men that made her feel she had to?
yeah, well, yeah, good point.
Like that pendulum swings both ways. So
I hear you.
I don't know. And gas
Let me.
prices are going down.
Yeah, of course they are. I know. Let me. I'll get to one of these. Duck said she wanted to pass a bill that would keep inmates in jail longer than their jail sentence, so she could use them as cheap labor for the state of California. Well, Trump wants to execute drug dealers. Literally, he wants to give them the death penalty.
That's
You know what I mean?
actually a Republican thing, Doc. That's not a
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. 100%. South Philly Tony then said Harris, she has no policies at all. The prices at the stores are up because the gas prices are up and all this shit rolls downhill. Truckers pay more and pass it to the store and then to the consumer. South Philly Tony, I will tell you this. First of all, she has tons of policies. You're just failing to acknowledge them. She's been going over all types of fucking policies. You know what I mean? So that's just, like I said, you're not seeing them, you're not hearing about them, or you're just not acknowledging them. As far as the gas prices, I swear to God, South Philly Tony, the fucking vice president has very little to do with the fucking gas prices. The president, even in some cases, has very little to do with the price of gas.
Absolutely.
Guy, South Philly Tony, gas prices go up, bro. They go up. You know what I
Well,
mean? That's just the way it is. People got to adjust. They have to adjust. And the prices at the store are up. And I just told you one of the reasons why. Look at the CEO of Kruger's. He deliberately raised the prices on things to increase the profits. That's it. You know what I mean? But to say she has no policies, I mean, I don't know what you're paying attention to. South Philly Tony, it's literally Trump that has no policies. Tell me what his policies are for the future. Tell me what they are. I could tell you what Kamala's are. So Kamala's, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I say her name however I feel like it. I'm so tired of having to correct myself. But she's put a whole entire policy plan out there. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple. All you got to do is look it up, listen to her, read about her. Don't just say that. But in the meanwhile, while she's talking policy at her rallies, Trump is talking about Al Capone and electric boats and shark attacks and fucking Al Capone. Did I already say Al Capone? I might have. Hannibal Lecter and fucking his fucking crowd sizes and his ratings and whether or not somebody called him weird. Does that actually make him weird? I mean, it's fucking. You're listening to a rambling fucking moron when you hear him speak. When you listen to Kamala, you listen to a very highly educated woman who's held all types of elected positions. She's been a district attorney, an attorney general, a fucking senator, the vice president. Now she's running for president. As opposed to this reality TV show host, this lifelong con man. I mean, you tell me some Trump policies and I'll tell you some Kamala policies. That's all. She said, Charles Lee Ray said she had 4 years to make a difference, but they didn't change anything. She was vice president, not president. And yes, they did. They did. You failed to acknowledge a lot of her policies. Like I said, look at the American Rescue Plan, the Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS and Science Act, a student loan forgiveness, all these other different things they did. Look at all this shit, capping fucking insulin at $35. So seniors could fucking afford their medicine, all types of shit. You're just not, you just say that. You just say they didn't change anything. No, because the media that you're listening to is telling you they didn't change anything. That doesn't mean they didn't change anything. Okay. It's just another thing you're saying. You know what I mean?
Well, as far as like the gas prices, a lot of people are like, they're remembering back to that period of time where gas dropped down to $1.75 a gallon, which coincided with Trump's presidency. But what people forget is the reason why it was so low is because nobody was going anywhere. Like, I mean, I used to joke with people I was getting three months to the gallon. You know,
Yeah, no shit. I know.
it was during the whole, I don't want to say the C word. I call it the evil dark time.
Yeah, they failed to acknowledge that too.
Right. And that's why gas was that low at that point. Trump had nothing to do with that. It was the reserves were backing up because nobody was using it.
Yeah.
And that's how they have to get rid of it, is that's when they lower it.
Without a doubt.
Yep. Is it me, or like when Trump talks, like even in debates, they'll ask him a specific question, or when he's doing speeches, he'll be talking about a certain thing. He won't finish the sentence. He rambles on. He jumps around to like 10 other things. And I'm sitting there going,
he's a
what?
fucking madman, Jesse. He's a madman. His
Like,
mind is a
what?
circus.
Yeah. How does the price of groceries have to do with Hannibal Lecter? Like, really?
I know.
Like, oh my God. I cannot take that, man.
I know. Let me see something. Dux, I'll address it like this, because Dux said, how about go back? He's calling me out. Dux is calling me out. Address it instead of bringing up something that Trump wants to do. First of all, I know about her working to increase prison sentences. Whether or not it's for cheap labor, I don't believe so, bro, but I will research it and we'll talk about it next time. I don't know about that specifically. I highly doubt it. But even if it's true, I did address it, Tony Dux. You're just not listening to me. You want me to give some big elaborate answer defending Kamala Harris. I don't give a fuck what she did as district attorney. I mentioned that she put a lot of horrible people like sex traffickers away and shit. Yeah. Why do I say that? Because your other option is a 34-time convicted felon. I'm not a big whataboutism guy. You know that. But when you ask me that question, I feel like you already know the answer and you're just trying to be a pain in my fucking ass. She's not Donald Trump. There's nothing you could say about Kamala Harris that's worse than this man. You could bring up anything. I'm not defending her as a person or as a prosecutor. I'm not defending her as a politician. She's not Donald Trump. The argument is who's better for office. That's what we argue about on every one of these politics shows. Who is better for the next presidency? For the next 4 years, who's better for the country, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Without a doubt, hands down, Kamala Harris. Yeah, she did that, Dux. And what did Trump do? What about the fact that Trump takes ridiculous amounts of money from the private prison industry? What about that shit? What about the fact that Donald Trump has been accused of sexual assault 26 times? What about the fact that he was found civilly liable for rape? What about the fact that he's a 34 time convicted felon with 91 fucking felony indictments? You know what I mean? What about the fact that he's committed all types of fraud and every other kind of crazy crime? He tried to overturn a fucking election. He tried to overthrow the fucking government. He caused an insurrection. You know what I mean? Something unprecedented. He had his people storm the fucking Capitol. Never happened in American history. Okay? Things like this. How about the fact that he's a known racist and con man and all that? You think that I'm sitting here just trying to defend Kamala? No, if I'm defending her, it's against Trump. It's not her herself as an individual. I don't give a fuck necessarily about shit in her past, because what I know of her, and I know a good bit, makes her still 1,000 times better person than Donald Trump, period. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. And if you think that Trump wouldn't do that, Dux, I'm telling you, you're not paying attention. Well, but I feel the exact opposite way, Timothy Sullivan. Like, again, I regularly ask people about Trump's policies. What policies of his do you like? And I rarely ever get an answer. So let's talk about for 2025. What are his policy ideas? Tell me, Timothy. I want to know.
I just want to address Cuban Rambo for a minute while he's addressing you in the chat. Responding. Let me address Cuban Rambo. He made a comment. I believe it's regarding when I said about, Kamala having to sleep her way up to the top. He said, no one would have made her have to. It would have been a choice to quit. Well, yeah, listen, when you're talking, whether it's corporate world or politics, and this is something I probably have a little bit more inside information on being a woman, when you're put in a position where you're not going to get a promotion unless you do certain things, you can quit your job and you can go elsewhere. But guess what? People talk. And you're not going to get promoted elsewhere either based on your merit and everything else. And that it's sad. And yes, she does have the option to quit. The woman always has the option to quit, but why should she have to? Why should she have to be like, all right, listen, you've got the qualifications for the job, but you're not going to get it unless you sleep with me? Why does that have to be that way? And it happens more often than you think. And look, I'm not trying to go like all feminist here or anything, but it happens. Cuban muscle. Like, you don't even know. I have people walk into my office all the time. Now, my name, it's spelled like a boy. And a lot of people say, well, I'd like to talk to the manager. Is he in? And I'm like, no, I'm the manager. And I've actually had people tell me I cannot be the manager because I'm a woman, not a man. So it's a very real thing. It's a very real thing. And, again, like I said, depending on whether you're a lawyer or you're in the corporate world or you're going up for politics, you could be the most qualified candidate in the world. But if you deny somebody when that's put to you, word gets around quick and you will never get anywhere. You could be the most qualified person in the world. You will never get anywhere. And it's not fair. All right, I'm done.
No, I gotcha. Jane Creek said large parts of the world's industry shut down during the pandemic. Also, Saudi Arabia and Russia had an oil war. That also brought down oil prices. There's a reason. There's a lot of reasons for it, guys. You got to read about OPEC and everything else. You guys think the president comes into office and he's responsible for gas prices being up or down right off the bat? I don't know where you get that idea. Like, tell me some other reasons why why gas prices are low under Trump, other than COVID and shit like that. Tell me some other fucking reasons. You know what I mean? It's just, you guys are constantly saying the same shit over and over. And again, it blows my mind because I have to say, as much as this sounds arrogant, whatever the fuck, I don't care if it sounds uppity or I don't care. If you're in a situation where your whole life, your politics, everything, who you want to be fucking president, your daily concerns revolve around the prices of gas and groceries, you have bigger issues than who's in office. Okay? I'm telling you guys, you could say what you want about how I make a living now. I can't tell you a time since maybe the late 90s that I haven't filled up my tank at the pump every single time I went to get gas. Not one time, not ever. What does that mean? It means that I always made sure I make enough money that I can buy fucking gas. Okay, that's it. Whether I had a DJ business or I was selling drugs or I was working at a factory, I just can't relate. I can't relate when it comes to now. If you're a truck driver or something, and it's costing you a fucking ridiculous amount more, whatever. But if you're filling up the average tank and it costs you an extra $10, I'm sorry, I just can't relate to that type of thinking. I can't, because it's like, what are you going to do when gas prices just naturally go up like they have been? What are you going to do? Gas is going to be more expensive, most likely next year than it is this year, and definitely 5 years from now and 10 years from now, it's going to be more expensive. What do you do then? I mean, you got to prepare for these things. You have to. Same thing with groceries. I'm sorry, guys. I swear to God, the day that I have to limit the amount of food my family eats because of grocery prices is the day that I look in the mirror and say, you've made terrible decisions and you got to do better in life. I'm sorry if that sounds ignorant or fucked up, but it's true. Some people just have to take personal fucking responsibility, and you can't sit around, just like you guys say, you can't sit around and wait for the government to give you handouts. Well, you can't sit around and wait for the government to solve all your problems. If you can't afford groceries or gas, you need to make more money. Period. That's it. The end. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck how that sounds. It's the truth. I am so tired of hearing people fucking whine about groceries. Holy fuck, man. And they're groceries. It's something you need, for fuck's sake. Just buy it. Jesus fuck.
Well, I'm going to say this because I do agree with you 100% on that point of view. There are things that you could do to make yourself be able to afford them, like either do what you got to do, just do it. I agree with you 100%, but I will say this, the rate of inflation versus the rate of employers giving their employees a living wage is not what it was like 20 years ago.
No,
So
of course not. But that's why you just got to do something else.
Oh, no,
You know what I mean?
agreed,
You got to do
but I'm
something
just
else because
saying.
you're not. Inflation is going to increase quicker than wages. That's just the way it is, and that's what's happening right now. So it's
Right.
like, Jesus Christ, you guys. I'm sorry, man, but if gas becomes $10 a gallon, okay, and grocery prices quadruple, I don't want a fucking rapist who looked at a fucking 10-year-old girl, an 8-year-old girl on an escalator and said, in 10 years, I'll be dating her. A borderline pedophile. I don't want a scumbag like this in office. I don't give a fuck if it hurts my pocket. Sometimes you got to look out for the best of the country rather than just yourself, or what's best for the country rather than just what's best for you.
Right. And you make a very great point because I hear a lot of people say, well, we don't care what Trump does in his personal life and this, that, and the other. Okay, first of all, I do care because those of us that are raising children, this is a position in the country that people look up to. And we teach our children you need to respect that office. Whether you like who's in there or not, you need to respect that office. But I don't want some sleazy person in there teaching my children, my nieces, my nephews, that it's okay to just walk around and say things the way he says or do what he does. And it's okay because the president did it.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I mean, I told you, nobody in this chat would let somebody like Donald Trump date their daughter. Nobody in a million fucking years. You most likely wouldn't leave him alone with your kids either. But you want him to be the fucking president. And Cuban Rambo, Kamala word salad buffet. That again, that's where you lose me, because she is literally a well-spoken woman with great policy ideas. You know what I mean? Who does these amazing rallies, gives amazing fucking speeches, whereas Trump is a rambling fucking moron. Do you want me to play his answer again on childcare? What he's going to do to fix childcare? No, it's him, the word salad. It's him. Of course. Well, Timothy, no offense, but that's what Democrats do. It's the Republicans, the MAGA people that vote on emotion, because everything is about their hatred for other fucking people, okay, and their fear. Everything is based on their fear. They're fearful of everything. They're fearful of other races. They're fearful of other religions. They're fearful of every fucking thing. You know what I mean? So it's like that's where all the emotion comes in. And Dux, I know you don't like Trump or Harris, but again, that's my answer. Like, look, Charles Lee Ray said she blocked evidence on someone's death row, someone on death row. That's pretty bad. I got to look into that. I don't know if that's true or not, but let's just say it is Charles Lee Ray. I would still vote for her above Trump. And that's the argument. Who do I want to be president? Look at Charles Lee Ray. Let me tell you, Donald Trump went out of his way, spent a fortune on trying to get 5 innocent black kids executed. Tell me he didn't. The Central Park 5. Okay. He took out a full-page ad in the New York Times about bringing back the death penalty. He said that if they're not guilty for that, they're guilty for something. I mean, so, I could say the same type of shit about Trump, but we don't even have to do whataboutism. It's just a matter of my my opinion is exactly what it is for a million reasons. My preference for the next president, is that it's not a lifelong con man, racist scumbag who cheated on every wife he ever fucking had, never attended a single one of his kids' fucking graduations, bragged about leaving an old man to bleed on the floor because he was disgusted by the sight of blood, wants to fuck his own daughter, looked at, again, an 8-year-old girl and said he'll be dating her in 10 years. All this shit, walks in on fucking naked teenagers at fucking beauty pageants, all this other shit. These are not talking points. These are the real thing. A guy who brags about wanting to bring manufacturing back to America, but then gets caught on David Letterman pushing his clothing line that's made in China, for fuck's sake. I mean, the guy's a pathological liar. He's a fucking moron on top of it. I don't want that guy running the country. You guys have been convinced that his last 4 years were just magnificent. But if you actually open your eyes and read and look at, what really went on, you'll realize that it was a fucking disaster. And it's the last thing anybody should ever want. Guys, he literally hates our fucking country. I know what you'll say. No, he hates what's going on in it. No, he hates our country. Listen to one of his rallies. All he does is bitch and moan and shit talk our country. That's all he fucking does. It's disgusting. And then the people who like him like to say he's a patriot. He's a patriot. This motherfucker took Joe Biden's Putin's side over fucking Joe Biden, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? And Republican MAGA people, Trump supporters will say, I've heard them say they'd rather have Putin as president of the United States than Joe Biden. This is sick, twisted shit. We've never seen this in history.
That's scary. That's some scary crap right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a cult. This is a weird situation America's never had to deal with before 2015, 2016. It's so out of fucking control. I mean, the guy literally said he could stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and he wouldn't lose any votes. He wouldn't. I heard a guy debating a Republican earlier, a MAGA person. I won't even say a Republican. And he said, you guys are so sick that Trump could rape a child on live TV and he wouldn't lose your votes. And it's true.
I wouldn't be shocked.
No, you don't care. You don't care. I mean, I listened to a woman when they said, what happens if Trump loses the election? And she said, I hope I die. That she was dead serious. He said, you mean it? She said, I would rather die than deal with another 4 years of this. And the funny part is the smart people, the people who are informed on all this are saying 4 more years of what? What is it that's such a fucking tragedy that took place? What kind of fucking travesty of justice took fucking place that you'd rather die than live like you have the last 4 years in this country, when guess what? The people in this country have been doing pretty well the last 4 years. Grocery prices are up, gas prices are up. There's a crisis at the border. Kind of, it's not nearly what they make of it. Okay. And that's it. That's all you fucking, I don't know. I forgot where I was even at.
That's another thing, guys, that I can't express enough. People throw around these terms like illegal immigrants, undocumented, this, that, and the other. Okay, first of all, I don't understand why, but I don't believe the government uses the term illegal anymore. They call them undocumented. All right. There is no way an undocumented immigrant can vote, can get welfare, can get this or get that. Now, refugees are that if you're a refugee status, you're not illegal, you're not undocumented, you are listed as a refugee from another country. Therefore, will you get welfare and help? Probably, but you're not undocumented. So I think people get a lot of these terms confused.
Yeah, absolutely.
And no, documented immigrants like refugees or what, no, they are not allowed to vote. Are there some assistance programs for them? Yes, there are. But there's also assistance programs for our citizens that people, and I hate to say this, but people are too lazy to look into them. They're out there. If you need help, there are programs that will help you. But people, people neglect to understand that people coming here, they will give them extra help finding these programs because they don't know where to go for resources. You're educated, you can read. Look on the local government website if you need food stamps or you need help with housing or whatnot. Go to your county office. You know, these immigrants aren't getting, you're not getting denied resources over these immigrants. You're just too lazy to look for them if you need them. That's, in a lot of cases. Now, there are some programs I think are bunk. I'm not going to lie. But there's, don't sit there and hate on these immigrants. Just do it. It's kind of like the groceries, FBS. If the groceries go up, just go out and buy them. You need it, right? If you need help with something, go find it. It's there. You have to go to your government offices. The government's not going to knock on your door and go, here you go. I heard you need help with your groceries this week. Here's money. No, you actually have to get up off your ass and go to the office and apply for it. You know what I mean? Like these immigrants aren't getting anything that is not offered to citizens of the United States. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like you have just as much right to go apply for those benefits, but you're just mad because they're doing it and you're not.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Let me see. Duck said, here's the only thing you just said. You don't care what Harris has done in her past, correct? So why care what Trump did in his? Or did I misunderstand what you said? No. You got to understand they're two different people with two different pasts. I don't give a fuck. What she did as a prosecutor, she did as a prosecutor. You know what I mean? I'm not concerned about it nearly as much as I am as what somebody did as a criminal. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm sorry. And I know that the way I live my life, that might seem ass backwards to you, but no, I will look at all of this stuff. And I guarantee you there's another side to what you guys are saying about lengthening prison sentences and cheap labor and holding evidence back on somebody who's on death row and all that shit. And we could discuss it more another time, without a doubt. But I know what her past is to an extent versus what I know for a fact is Donald Trump's past. Do you understand? Like Kamala Harris, even the things you just named, she's running for president. I'm not that concerned about those things you named. You can tell me a few things Kamala did as a prosecutor that may seem egregious. Okay. And you've told me, and I don't care. I have every right to not care about her past, but to care about his. There's certain things in this world I find disgusting. One is raping women. Another one is even fantasizing about fucking a child. Okay. Another thing is sexually assaulting numerous women, dozens. Okay. These things make me sick. Being a lifelong con man who has stepped on every single fucking small business he's ever come across, refused to pay his workers, failed business after business, and then just walked away with all types of debts, refused to pay his vendors or any fucking thing else. People who have made a living off of stepping on the little fucking guy. People that advocated or people that fucked that, people that wanted the death penalty for 5 black kids, even though there was a proof that they weren't guilty. He just wanted it done anyway because there were 5 black kids and he wanted to see them executed. A person who was sued because he refused to rent apartments to black people in the 70s. A person who was accused by his own wife of raping her. A person who's expressed on multiple occasions that he tried to fuck his daughter. Now, that he wants to fuck his daughter. Now, when you could tell me that type of shit about Kamala's past, then we got an argument. Then we got a fucking argument. As far as the prosecutor stuff, Ducks, one thing we all know is all prosecutors are dirty as a motherfucker. They absolutely are. Did she do dirty shit as a prosecutor? I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The good part is she's not running for prosecutor anymore. She's running for president, and things are different. I look at what the future is going to be. Trump is who he is and who he's always been. Kamala isn't doing these things anymore, right? She's been vice president. Trump is still committing crimes to this day, and he committed them throughout his whole entire first fucking term. This is the only person in history, the only president in history to be impeached twice, the only fucking president in history to be convicted of felonies. And I know you guys make a light of what those crimes actually are. You can, no matter what. The bottom line is those crimes didn't become felonies only when Trump was prosecuted for them and convicted of them. They've always been felonies no matter who committed them. Okay. And there's a lot more to come. So, and all you guys that think all these cases are going to be thrown out because of the Supreme Court decision, you're completely and entirely wrong. 90% of these things, there is no defense that he did these as an official act. Okay, which means they're not going any fucking where. Eileen Cannon is a partisan cunt. Okay, who was put in her position by Donald Trump, and she's doing everything to protect him. That doesn't mean that case isn't coming back. It's coming back. Okay, and he's going to be prosecuted, convicted, and sentenced for a lot of shit. Unless maybe he becomes president again. Right? That's it. That's all there is to it. So, yeah, when it comes to the two of them, no, the shit she did in her past as a prosecutor is nothing to me compared to the shit he did in his life as a private citizen or even a public figure. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
She did dirty shit in her past to put people like him away.
Exactly. Yeah, she put criminals away. Yeah, exactly. That's what she did. Okay. And let's be honest, Ducks. If any presidential candidate or nominee, like let's say Biden, was found civilly liable for rape by a goddamn fucking jury, what would the uproar be? Would he even have a shot? No chance. He couldn't even get through a fucking primary if that was the case. It's only Donald fucking Trump that even the corporate media, left and right, they just cover for him constantly. They don't. It's like, oh, he's Donald Trump. He bankrupts businesses. He fucking, he tries to sexually assault people. He's been found liable for rape. He's a scumbag. Just let it go. They don't make shit out of the things he does wrong because we're just so used to it. If any fucking politician had any of the things in the past, any of the things Donald Trump has in his past, if they had any of those things in their past, they wouldn't have a shot at any political office, period, no matter what. It's just that everybody lets everything slide because we know this guy to be the scumbag lunatic that he is. So it became normal now. It's not, it's not normal to me. I don't want anybody who's been basically convicted of rape becoming president. I don't.
I kind of feel like MRE is running for president at this
point. My God, he is. This is Donald Trump is Tony Pizza with billions of dollars. That's all he is. And MRE wrapped into one, no doubt.
It's scary. It's really, really scary. People will stand up and bow to this man, and I don't get it. If anybody. If anybody on the Democrat side did anything near as bad, look what they did to Obama for wearing a tan suit. Could you imagine if Kamala Harris has a speeding ticket in her past?
Oh my God. Yeah, look up the tan suit thing with Obama. This is insane. We're even having this conversation. The fact that somebody like Donald Trump could actually win is a testament to one thing and one thing only. Forget win, even make it through primaries or anything. Get this far, even if he wasn't elected the first time, as far as he got. Okay. It's a testament to one thing and one thing only, is that half this country is fucking pure evil. That's it. The fact that Donald Trump could even forget about, okay, he ran as president, he won, he completed a first term. Okay, now he's actually winning. There's a good chance he's going to become president again. And everybody knows all this shit about him, and he continues to do despicable shit. Look at the way they made fun of Gus Waltz. It's fucking disgusting. The right is disgusting. They're horrible fucking people. They're evil.
My God, that made me cry. That made me
cry.
My
God, look what they did. Ann Coulter, talk about weird, she says. She puts a picture of a fucking learning disabled kid, a special needs kid, crying because his father gave a beautiful speech and he's running for vice fucking president. I mean, this is the type of shit you only see on the right. This is the type of evil you only see there. It's disgusting.
When I saw him,
the fact that Trump, with his past of sexual assault and everything else, could actually be running for a second term in this country is fucking sickening. It made me lose all faith in fucking humanity.
When I saw Gus get up and he was applauding his dad and going, "That's my dad, that's my dad," that melted my heart. That was so sweet. And,
I know.
like you said, like their rallies are all happy and like sweet moments like that. And then they turn around and pick on him. Oh my God, I was in tears. I wanted to like strangle someone.
Yeah, you look at a Trump rally, it's gloom and doom. By the time you leave, you must be suicidal. You think the world is coming to an end. You go to a Kamala rally, yeah, there's happiness, there's hope, there's the people are inspired and they're fucking they have hope for the future. They actually think we might get our country back completely. They've done a good job over the last 4 years, but they can continue that work with everything, with lowering drug prices and affordable housing and making sure women's reproductive rights are protected and student loan forgiveness and all this different shit. They're happy that people love it. They're actually excited. And it's been a long time since people have truly been excited for a presidential candidate. I won't even include Trump supporters. They're excited, but they're excited because it's the same reason people in a psych ward are excited. They're out of their fucking minds. That's why.
I'm telling you. I really like the comparison of Trump to someone like Pizza or MRE. It scares me. It's like, it really does.
It does. And guy's a pathological liar. A guy that lied. How many times was it? 30,000 times in his first 4 years. Documented lies that can be proven to be lies. 30,000 times in 4 fucking years. He lied in the debate.
Ones they caught.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He lied in the debate 28 fucking times in 90 minutes. I mean, he did a speech the other day. It was like 60 something times he fucking lied. People fact check him. They're lies. It's not our opinion. They're lies. They're lies. He's lying to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's no comparison between Kamala and Trump. Kamala is a normal human being and Trump is a fucking animal, period. And Charles Lee Ray, I feel you what you're saying about the primaries and stuff, but listen, she was on the ticket. So technically she did get the votes and she got the delegates. So FBS, so you don't think the answer is giving out more food stamps? No, I think the answer is, move your ass and realize, oh my God, I have to fucking, I got to do something. Prices are up. You know what I mean? That's all. I just don't, I don't know. I mean, what do you do? Like, this is, I watched a video of a guy the other day, let me play you guys something. I'm going to play you guys one more thing. This is another hillbilly dude, but it's funny what he says and how true it is. It's true, man, because there's no personal accountability. Let me show you something.
Because you're lucky. Can't afford.
Okay, listen to this.
Please tell me right now. Right now. Look at me. Tell me how you're affording groceries for your family.
Because some people make fucking money. They make enough money to do it. That's one. But listen to this guy.
Step on a lot of toes, but y'all need to hear it. Now, I understand that every situation is different, and this may not pertain to you, or it might, and don't get your feelings hurt for understanding the truth of the situation. People do not hold themselves accountable anymore. Now, I understand corporate greed and inflation and all that stuff. All that has played a gigantic role in this. But people took advantage of the economy when it was really good and expected it to stay good. You stayed at your part-time job or your full-time job making $15, $16, $17 an hour, and you were doing okay, so you didn't think you needed to go anywhere else. In reality, that was the perfect time. You should have shot up the ladder. And I understand prices vary from city to city on everything. People get themselves in bad situations and don't want to admit it because it's hard to take accountability for yourself, because I know I've had to. That's why I ended up in bankruptcy quite a few years ago. I see this on a daily basis, guys. Couples, both of them driving brand new cars with a payment $700 to $1,200 a month a piece, and they're the first ones to come on here and bitch about not being able to afford anything. I don't have any sympathy for them. That was a bad decision. You have to be prepared for the what ifs. What if the economy crashes? What if the banks crash? It's not always going to stay 100% perfect, guys. And by looking at the United States track record, it never.
All right, so you get the point, personal fucking accountability. I mean, listen, these people who are on here talking about how can anyone afford groceries? Well, not everyone works at McDonald's. That's how. What do you mean? Like, a lot of people can afford groceries. I think most people can afford groceries at this point, but he's right. It's people make terrible decisions in their lives. Then inflation happens. They get jammed up where they can't afford even food anymore. And they sit around and bitch and fucking moan, and they're willing to put a rapist in office because they actually believe he can fix fucking grocery prices. I got news for you. Trump loves that shit. He believes in increasing profitability as much as fucking possible for himself and his rich friends. Okay, you think he has any desire in lowering grocery prices for you? Again, lame duck presidency if he wins this time. He doesn't have to do anything for you. He doesn't need your fucking vote anymore. He's going to do everything in his power to make himself and all the other rich people richer. So he has no fucking desire to lower prices on groceries. And guess what? He has no power to either. Okay, unless they do something like what Kamala's proposing, where they pass some sort of fucking, anti-price gouging law. That's it. That's it. So it's like, it's just mind blowing to me that you guys actually think that Trump is going to help you. All he's done so far is hurt you. You just don't see it yet. You haven't figured it out yet. You guys actually think your taxes are up because of Biden. Your taxes are up because of Trump. A lot of things that are happening now are because of Trump. And let me tell you something else about food fucking prices. At least there is food. I'm grateful there's food to buy. I could show you guys a couple of pictures of Walmart, okay, during COVID. I was literally walking around in circles in that store trying to find food to buy to feed my fucking family. Canned food, anything I could fucking find. There was no food. He fucked up COVID so fucking bad you couldn't get a case of water, a toilet paper to wipe your fucking ass, or provide a decent meal to your family because there was no food to buy. And you guys forget about all that shit and you're bitching about fucking grocery prices. Come the fuck on. We got two choices here, people. Kamala or Trump. That's it. Somebody said earlier they wish we had more choices. So do I. We don't. This is usually how it happens. We wind up with two shitty people. Not always, but sometimes. Okay. And right now, listen, if you think Kamala's a shitty person, that's up to you. Me personally, maybe I'm blinded by the fact that I know she'll be better for the country than Trump. And that's all that really matters to me. For me to be sitting here and scrutinizing her and digging up her past and everything else. I know for a fact she'll be better than Trump. And that's all I need to know to vote for her. That's it. If you tell me tomorrow that she held back evidence in 10 death row cases or death penalty cases, really? Oh my God. Is she trying to fuck a child by any chance? Has she raped anybody? You know what I mean? Has she robbed the fucking thousands of people throughout her lifetime? Is she a full-blown fucking racist? Does she advocate for neo-Nazis? Oh, no? Okay, then I'm voting for her. That's it. That's as simple as that.
At the end of the day, to me, it doesn't matter who's president. I just want to know that I'm going to be safe. My child's going to be safe. My nieces, my nephews, my family, my friends, my loved ones are going to be safe. I do not feel safe with Donald Trump.
No, of course not.
I mean, honestly, if there were a more, I'm trying to think of the word.
Hang on while you think of it. See, Steve, somebody said their 401k is doing bad. Well, 401ks kind of work that way. It's all about money being invested and where it's invested. But most people I talk to, like Steve Blair here, his 401k is doing great. Nothing has taken place that would affect your 401k.
Yeah, it's where you choose to put your money in your 401k. So again, the choice is on you. Capable. That's the word I was trying to think. If there were a more capable Republican that I could take seriously, I might look at them as a serious candidate. But he's scary. He's just a scary mofo. I hated him when he was a Democrat, guys. Okay? How about that? So this isn't even a Republican issue. This isn't even a Republican issue for me. I hated him when he was a Democrat. He was evil and horrible.
Yep.
So
No doubt. And Cuban Rambo, you don't want your daughters to think it's okay to have an affair with a man 31 years her senior for any reason. Well, do you want your daughters to think it's okay for a man to grab a woman by the pussy without her consent? Because let me tell you, you're in luck. She didn't have an affair with a man 31 years her senior. He had been separated for, I think, well over a decade from his wife. You know what I mean? It wasn't an affair by any stretch of the imagination. They
How
dated.
much younger is Melania from Donald?
Oh, I know. You want your daughter to think it's okay? Well, I won't say this because we're talking about, but let's look at the scenario. Melania was a whore who needed a fucking green card, and her job was to go entertain rich white men in hopes that maybe one of them will get her one. You know what I mean? And she wound up with Donald Trump.
And he's got a good 30 years on her, doesn't he? Maybe
nah,
25 at least.
Let me see. How old is Melania Trump?
54 years old.
And he's, about 25 years probably. How old is Donald Trump? 79?
78, I think.
78.
So yeah, good. Over 20 years older than her. Oh, but heaven forbid Kamala date somebody that's 30 years older than her. You know. See how this works? This is going back to the sexist thing here.
Yeah, not just that, but it is. Jesse's absolutely right, because Cuban Rambo, when you think about that, if you want to believe Kamala had an affair, okay, how many did Trump have? Do you realize, do you want your daughters to think, oh my God, a man could be president and deserves a spot, even if he cheated on every wife he ever had an affair on every wife, including one while she was pregnant with their only fucking child? You know what I mean? So that was a bad one to bring up, Cuban Rambo, because I can come back at you 1,000 different ways. Trump is the guy who has affairs. Trump is every fucking wife he ever had. He had an affair with while he was married to the wife before her. Literally every wife he ever had. So, I mean, come on. And then he married a whore. His last and final marriage was a whore. And then he buried his kid's mom on a fucking golf course where she's all covered up with weeds and shit now. That's right, Tom Shee, because of Democrat policies. State-funded programs. Some states provide health coverage to undocumented immigrants through state-funded programs. For example, California's medical program lowers income undocumented young. Is that supposed to say adults? I'm not sure, Jesse. Is that right? I don't know. I don't think so.
What's can you read that again?
Some states provide health coverage to undocumented immigrants. Even if it is, they still can't get welfare. They can't vote.
They're no longer. If they have health coverage, they're no longer undocumented because they're documented under the health care.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that whole statement is wrong.
Yeah.
Once you're under a program. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead. I want to see.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Cuban Rambo, just answer. What do you mean you were denied? You were denied what when you first came home? Go ahead. Sorry, Jesse.
Undocumented means you're holing up in a house with 10 other illegal immigrants working under the table. There's nothing on documentation with your name on it. Once you have health care, you're documented. That's what I was getting at when people are really
you have to be an American citizen to get all these benefits. You do. They can't. I'm telling you, undocumented immigrants cannot get fucking welfare. They cannot. Period. That's the end of it. They can't.
At the very least,
Republican fear mongering. They want you to think that.
At the very least, once they're documented with health care and all that, they're on some type of visa. If they're not a citizen yet, they're on either some sort of visa or some sort of stay. All right. So that's why I say you guys are really confused as to what undocumented means. Undocumented would mean I'm living with 10 other people in a house, working under the table. Nobody knows I exist. You know, that almost doesn't happen anymore because most companies I know of, you have to draw a paycheck. Nobody pays cash anymore.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe maybe
Go
some
ahead, go ahead.
farmers or, some pizza places or something like that might pay like a waiter or something under the table. Or, we're talking about people that are doing jobs that you guys don't want. So that's
Of
another
course.
thing. That's another thing. When you talk about illegal immigrants taking our jobs, do you want to be picking cotton and apples out of a tree for 12 hours a day? Go for it.
Yeah, no, of course they don't. South Philly Tony said Kamala is not doing that hideous prosecutor things anymore. Just wait till. Well, what would she do? Just out of curiosity, because Jesse was right earlier. All that shit, increasing prison sentences, especially so they have people in there, for cheap labor, and they can make money off those contracts and everything else. I mean, those are Republican ideas. Those are what Republicans do generally. That is 100% true. So when it
Yeah,
comes to that
prison for
type of stuff,
profit.
it's much more likely to be done by Trump than her. But then
Yeah,
again, he's a
prison for
criminal.
profit is definitely a Republican idea.
Without a doubt. Based on that alone, I don't want him as prez. I feel you, Tony Ducks. All right, South Philly Tony. Oh, Timothy Sullivan, FBS. The Donald told me to send you a few dollars. Zell Trump appreciates a beautiful woman. That's not a question. No, I feel you. I feel you. Thank you for the $10. I saw it. The $9.99.
FBS,
I
I'm gonna
appreciate
pop
you.
down. My phone's about to die, so
All
I'm
right.
gonna pop down. I'll be down in chat though.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for having me up.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, there goes Jesse. Trump's management style is that of a pimp. What does that say about his supporters? I know half this country is definitely evil. There's no doubt about it. You might disagree on which half, Ducks, but I know which half I consider that. That's right, baby A. Well, I don't know about all love, but nobody can, Ducks. Nobody can. You know what I mean? But that's there's bigger issues around that, like Kamala, one of her policy ideas for her first term, if she wins, is to do everything in her power to increase minimum wage. Now that's a problem we've had forever. So yeah, minimum wage needs to be increased. Of course, that could bring higher prices too. So this is why people just got to do everything in their power to make as much money as possible. They have to. They have to, because you can't rely on the government to fix these things. And 15, 16 an hour, listen. I'll tell you one thing, man. When I was working at one of the factories, at the time, minimum wage was $7.25, and most workers in stores and restaurants, like McDonald's workers, stuff like that, they were making probably around $9-10 an hour, and I was making like $18.75, something like that. And I used to tell people, listen, you don't need like any trade skills, you don't need any training, any type of education. You could come to the factory I work at, you'd be making at least 16, 17 off the bat. And they didn't want to do it. No, I'm more comfortable here. I don't know if I'd like that type of thing. Okay, then it's your fucking fault that you're only making what you're making, because I'm telling you about a better opportunity. You know what I mean? I'm telling you about a better opportunity. Guys, throughout my fucking life, you told me about a better job, I was going to get it. I didn't give a fuck if I was going to be uncomfortable or if I was already too comfortable in the job I was in to leave. No, it's like I need as much money as possible. But that's the problem. A lot of the people in this country are fucking lazy. You don't have to be making $15, $16 an hour, because if you can get a job at Target making that, you can get a job at some factory somewhere making $25 an hour with great benefits and health insurance and every fucking thing else. So people got to be motivated. I told you guys, I swear my fucking life, if I got to dig ditches in the hot sun all day to save my fucking family or to feed my family, I'm going to do it. Period. That's it. Whatever it takes. And I'm not trying to be a dick to people. I know some people can't afford shit. They're doing their best. I know that. What the guy said was true. The last guy that I played, these are things you have to prepare for. That's why, like, for instance, we're okay. We got some money in savings and all that. If I wanted to, I could afford to buy, some new clothes today or whatever. And it crossed my mind, but I didn't. Know why? I got to keep that money in savings. I need it. It has to be there. And money is low right now. money is low on YouTube. You ain't going to see me spending anything that's not necessary. Okay. Anything more than I need. It's not happening because I know that I need to have whatever money I have saved, and that I can't afford to spend what I don't have. I can't spend what I'm not making. You know, how am I going to do 2 shows, say I make $100 and I go out and spend 200? That's retarded thinking, you know? So people they have to take responsibility for some things, man. It's like, listen, you made choices in your life. And let me tell you another thing. I am a 2-time felon, and I have been for years and years and years and years and years. And I've never had a fucking problem getting a good job. Never. There's actually incentives now for companies to hire felons and every fucking thing else. I mean, a company like Syncreon, where I was working, you could drive around on a forklift all night and make $22 a fucking hour. And all you got to do to get a job there is basically be able to read and write. They had murderers working there. They don't even do a fucking background check. You know, and that's in York, Pennsylvania. And if you're making that type of money, I mean, not if you got a family of 4 and that's your only income, you're not okay. But if it's just, you know, you'll be doing okay. If I were a criminal, I would want a functioning government to steal from. Trump will take it all to himself, without a doubt. Joe Biden was a tough call, even for those who voted for him. Yeah, nobody wanted to vote for old Joe, but it was a vote against Trump. That's why when people are like, "Oh my God, how could Kamala be doing this great?" She was the low, you know, people hated her as vice president and all this shit. You know, terrible approval rating. She's not Donald Trump. That's it. People are not going to risk having this man in office again. I'm telling you. And the bottom line is that's how the majority of the country feels. The majority. Okay. That's why Biden won by 11 million fucking votes. It wasn't no fight. It was a fucking landslide because people weren't having it. They had 4 years of it. People slacked. The problem was, you know, in 2016, all the polls, all the news media was telling you how Hillary's ahead in the polls and she's going to win. And then, you know, they were making it seem like it was nothing to worry about. Don't worry. You know, they weren't saying it in so many words, but everybody had this attitude of there's no way Trump could win this election. There's no way. So people slacked and not everybody went out and voted and all that shit. And we paid for it for 4 fucking years. Okay. Now I voted, but I'm saying, you know, the people who didn't, that's just the way. Oh, no. I didn't vote. I was in jail. I'm sorry. I didn't vote for that one. But, you know, people, they were lackadaisical. They were like, fuck it. We're good. She's going to win. And she didn't win. People are not going to risk that again. They are not. There's going to be record numbers of voters this year, just like there was in 2020. It's going to be record numbers. Guarantee it. I mean, guys, you know, not only is it, you know, do we usually end up with 2 bad options, but look at the situation we're in right now. We're in a situation in America where Taylor Swift could literally make or break either one of these fucking nominees. Think about that. Okay. I mean, I agree with you. It's sick the way things are, but I just don't see Trump as the solution. I see him as the problem. You think people are happy making $16 an hour? They have to work where they have to work there. They have no choice. No, Charles Lee. That's not true. They do have a choice. They do have a choice. Do I think they're happy making it? I would assume that if you continue doing it, then you're happy. You know, there are those people who just bitch about their jobs all fucking day. And you know what I tell those people? Go get a different job. I know it's not as easy as it sounds sometimes, but I'm telling you, as a fucking person who always figured out a way to get a better job, even as a goddamn felon who's a high school dropout, I got every strike against me, Charles Lee Ray. Why is it that I was always able to move from one job to another where I was making money in that, making better money in that next job? Why is that? Why did I work in kitchens for years and then I realized, wait a minute, I could be making twice this in factories. Then I went to work at factories. That's it. You know, when I was younger, I wasn't making enough in restaurants at first, so I started a fucking DJ business. I made a fortune doing that. All right. And now I found a better way that a lot of you hate. You'll say I'm begging, whatever else, but it's my better way, you know. People have choices. This is not, we're not controlled by a dictator here or anything where we have no freedom of choice. You're not put into a job where you're forced to stay forever. No, you could always do things to move up. You got to leave your comfort zone. You have to. I mean, it used to be the Republican Party was the party of personal responsibility. Like, remember the expression, pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Now, all of a sudden, the Republican Party has become the party of whiners, complainers, who hate their fucking lives, but it's always somebody else's fault why they are where they are. You know what I mean? It's always somebody else's fucking fault. What happened? What the fuck happened? You guys talk about Democrats want handouts. Holy fucking shit. You want a president to come along and give you lower gas prices and lower food prices and do all types of shit for you. I mean, it's insane what's happened. What's happened? I go on TikTok and I'm telling you, the first 50 videos I see are people bitching about grocery prices. And you know the comment I leave all the time? You gotta make more money. That's the solution. That's your solution. Make more money or starve. That's your two choices. That's it. That's all. Donald Trump ain't bringing grocery prices down. He's not. Kamala was sleeping around also. Tell me with who, Frankie Knuckles? Tell me with who? Specifically. Seriously, tell me. What about going after business owners that hire undocumented immigrants? Good idea. Good idea. You know what I mean? Why not? But, again, this is usually Republicans who push to protect those people. A lot of the richest people in this country have made a fortune off the backs of illegal immigrants. So Republicans don't like that idea. But yeah, why not? Absolutely. Again, though, you got to remember, you get rid of illegal immigration, prices are going to go up. So whatever business you chase them out of, you're going to be paying more for those products. That's it. Just like agriculture, farming and stuff. I told you, I heard a farmer say it himself. If he didn't have those illegals working for him, you'd be paying $13 for a fucking gallon of milk. Is that right? Well, California doesn't surprise me. Yeah, exactly. History is a great teacher. Look at Cali, open borders, open invasion. The state is done. It wasn't perfect weather. No, if it wasn't perfect weather, no one would live there. You might be right, Timothy. You know what I mean? But I mean, we've had a lot of Democratic presidents, and we didn't have these issues. I mean, for fuck's sake, guys, the last Democratic president before Joe Biden was the deporter in chief. Remember? So it's a lot of these problems. Listen, they're either going to exist or not exist, depending on a whole lot of variables, which most of the time don't include who's president. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Things happen. Things change. What, Charles Lee Ray? I'm sorry, I'm behind, bro. So I don't know what you mean. All right, Timothy. Thanks for the money, bro. 5-time felon, got out in 2003, make over $90,000 a year working for the city of Boston. Boom. You know what I mean? There's all types of options. Look at my beautiful Shanna. Look at Shanna. She was out of the house at fucking 18 years old. Okay. But by 19, she had a kid. She was making $9 fucking an hour as a CNA. And it wasn't enough. She couldn't support her kid. So what did she do? While working as a CNA, she went to school and she became an LPN. All right. And then boom, that was the solution. It killed her for a while. It was tough, but that's what she did. That's what she did. You got to do things that are uncomfortable sometimes. This is what you got to do in life. And this is what I've always done. Everybody has to picture their life the way they want it. You have to decide exactly how you want to live in life. And then you have to come up with a plan as to how to make those to make those things possible. How are you going to make those things possible? This is how you want to live. Okay. what do you got to do to make it so that you can live that way? And then you have to act on it. That's it. You know what I mean? Listen, I was a factory worker who wanted to make a living on YouTube, and boom. That's exactly the story. Now, don't get me wrong. When I started the channel, I didn't think I'd make any money, but the intention was to make money. And within a month, I was making a living as a YouTuber. So you gotta come up with a plan, and then you gotta act on it. You gotta picture what do you want your life to be like. Now come up with a plan as to how you can get there and act on it. It might not always work, but you gotta try. And yeah, read The Secret. I know you're laughing, Bobby, but that's some true shit. I believe in the power of energy, 100%. The law of attraction. There's no doubt about it. Negative energy and positive energy. You know, if you're pissed off all fucking day, your day ain't going to get no better. You're attracting more negative energy. If you're in a great fucking mood and you're happy and you're smiling, a lot of good things will most likely come your way. You know, that's how it always works for me. Love you too, man. All right, guys, I got to get going. I'm out of here. I appreciate you all being here. And guys who donated, I love yous. Thank you. It means the world to me. You saved my day. Unfortunately, you know, I hate that I need you guys to do that, but you know, because other people, you know, we can't get people to donate here. It's always the same people. But I thank you, and everybody else should thank them too, because they sponsored. This show would have been over at the 45-minute mark, so they were the sponsors of this show. Thank you guys for everything. I love you all, and until next time, salute.